right, welcome back to Last Second Sports, where we are giving you our take down to the last second. And tonight is the 49er open mic call-in show. Short week here, right? We've got the 49ers coming off of a win on on Sunday. So we had a victory Monday. And we've got a game on Thursday, which means we could have a victory Monday and a victory Friday in the same week of Christmas. It doesn't get much better than that as a 49er fan. So there is a ton that we can talk about. We can talk about individual players like Ambry Thomas. How does he look? Is it encouraging or not encouraging what he's shown? What about Trey Lance? There was some talk that came out about Trey Lance this week from Fred Warner. Matt Mayoka reported on him. And then you have Jimmy Garoppolo being loved all over 49ers Twitter based off of him being mic'd up. So there's a lot that we can talk about with individual players. We can talk about Elijah Mitchell missing this game. We can talk about the Titans matchup. We can talk about the Falcons game. Whatever is on your mind, we can absolutely discuss. So with that being said, the call link is in the description. It is also pinned to the top of the chat. So anybody that wants to call in, now is your time to do so. I've only got one waiting in the back, so I'm going to get to him, and then I'm going to take the rest of your calls. So make sure that you call in. Let me change this overlay and then get in my guy, Korean 49er, who always starts us off. All right, let's see. Overlay. Boom, boom. Korean 49er. Boom. There we go. What's going on, my guy? How you doing?
I'm good, Jesse. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Like I said, we are coming off of a victory Monday, and now we might have a victory Friday all in the same week. So I wonder if the weekend starts out hot and good for 49er fans as we head into Christmas. What are your thoughts, man?
Hopefully we have a victory Friday. It was a very good win on Sunday. Sorry, still a little phlegm in the system, but doing a lot better
sick?
though. So
good. Yeah. I know you've been fighting over the last couple weeks.
Don't know what it is, but from a little bit of coughing I did, I accidentally bruised a rib or two. So
that's rough. Bruised ribs are no joke. That's for sure.
Remember, when you have injured ribs, coughing and sneezing and all that kind of stuff hurts real bad, and you want to get it done real quick. So,
absolutely.
Nice victory on Sunday. Expected, because I know the Falcons aren't a very good team, but with this game, I see it being a close game. The Titans have a very good defense, and I think that could always cause problems for Jimmy if they decide to send a lot of pressure his way, especially up the middle too.
Yeah, they have three guys. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think they have three guys with over 7 sacks. One has 7, one has like 9.5, and one has 7.5. So they definitely can get pressure on Jimmy, which is a very different situation than what we saw last week, right? Jimmy was sitting back there baking cakes, getting his Christmas wrapping done, everything in the pocket. And now this week, he's gonna be facing some heat. So curious to see how that plays out for sure.
Yeah, hopefully there'll be a lot of short, quick release passes and a lot of running the ball to keep the Titans defense at bay. But the one thing I see from this game that's kind of an issue is how do you see them containing Ryan Tannehill if he decides to run the ball a little bit more than pass?
Ooh, yeah, that's interesting. That's the one thing that Tannehill brings to the table. I was actually in a Twitter space, and a Titans fan came in, and we talked for like 20 minutes last night. And he was bringing some good perspective. He was talking about how unhappy he was with Tannehill. He actually compared Jimmy Garoppolo to Tannehill. He thought they were both two quarterbacks that were a little bit overpaid based off of the skill set they bring. He thinks that they're both good, but they need a lot around them to win. And you're seeing that a lot with Tannehill right now, especially without Henry and some injuries to A.J. Brown and what have you. But he is mobile, and that is the one difference. And he's got a pretty big arm. So, yeah, I'm curious to see if they get him mobile, which I think would be a great idea for Tennessee, what that does and the stress that brings to the 49ers defense. So that's a good point.
Yeah, and the other thing I was thinking about is it's nice seeing Ambry Thomas out there. I know he's not playing at a Deion Sanders peak level, but we have to know what we have. So he can improve for see what he has for next season. And if I know we're going to have to invest in that cornerback position again, whether it's with a second round pick or via free agency, who knows which route is the way to go. But that's just the way I see it, because that's going to be we don't want to see that be another issue if we can help that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point. Corner's been a talk really of the season ever since Verrett went down. Even before that, we talked about Verrett being injury prone, and then talking about needing to do something. We thought that the 49ers would go corner round 2. They didn't. I'm curious to see what happens when this draft comes up. There's a chance that they may not go corner round 2 again. I could see a situation actually as I'm starting to think this through, and we'll talk about it, I'm sure, throughout the whole offseason. But I really can see a situation where they draft an edge rusher round 2, believe it or not. And maybe round 3 they look to get a corner. So they put a premium on that edge rusher or D line in general. So I'm curious to see if they actually do go corner round 2, even if they don't pick up really anybody in free agency.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried about them picking an edge rusher when there's still several other needs that need to be addressed on the team via the draft somehow, and hopefully that's the case. So, for this game, I see it being a close game. I think 3 or 4 points spread. Last time I
Mhm.
saw it was, I think it was either 3.5 or 4 to San Francisco. So I could see it being a 27-23 kind of game.
I agree with you. Actually, I actually have a little bit lower scoring. I have it 20-17 49ers. I think you're right there. I think it's going to be low scoring. Both these defenses, I think, are going to do a good job. Now, it does sound like the Titans are possibly going to have both of their receivers back, which is something that we did not expect. I thought they would be without both AJ Brown and Julio Jones. Julio Jones has been dealing with a hamstring thing really all year. Sounds like he tweaked it on Sunday, yet he was a full go in practice today. And AJ Brown has been activated after missing some time. So they may have both those weapons, which really could put some stress on that 49er defense for sure.
Yeah, so hopefully the defensive line can get some pressure on Ryan Tannehill and limit those passes to Julio and AJ. So yeah, that's all I had. Hopefully, I know Grant's in Nashville. Hopefully, he'll get some of that good food down there.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, we didn't do the show tonight. He's touring Nashville and checking it out. So I'm sure he's going to come back with a good report. But yeah, he's having some fun there. His wife is obviously there as well. So I hope he's enjoying his time for sure.
So, do you think that he'll become a country music star, or that's not in the cards?
I could not imagine Grant even listening to country music, let alone being a country music singer. Wouldn't that be hilarious?
I went to one of those honky tonks, just to see what it was like, and it was
Yeah.
entertaining to at least listen to who was playing on stage. So, I mean,
Yeah,
there's a lot of
absolutely.
them, and they get found that way.
Yeah, of course they do. Yeah, in Nashville, I mean, what better place to do it? I've heard that they've got great food there as well, so I'm sure he's enjoying himself.
So, all right, thank you,
All
Jesse.
right,
Hopefully,
brother. Have a good weekend, man. Happy holiday.
you too.
All right, man. All right. Oh, here's a caller I haven't heard from in a long time. I hope he's doing good. I'm going to take a drink of water and I'll bring you in, bud. Varuna, Amin, you guys should call in now. I really don't have a long line. This is unusual, but I get it. It's Christmas week and I'm sure a lot of people are out with their family and doing whatever. But I mean, we got big 49er football coming up tomorrow. So I'd love to hear from everybody, but not your average sports kid. Bud, been a while. Let me bring you in here. Boom. Bam, there you go. How you doing, man?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic. It's been a while since I've talked to you. I'm glad that you're still around doing your thing. How's school going?
It's good. I mean, right now I'm like super busy, so even on my own channel, I haven't been posting because like I have basketball like every day, so it's tough. But honestly, the Christmas break has been like the greatest like sigh of like relief. But it's also been kind of annoying because I really wanted to go to the Nashville game, but we couldn't. So we made a trade so I could go to a South Carolina game. We're going to the bowl game, which is going to be awesome.
That's going to be fun. Yeah.
But yeah, but I'm still kind of mad I'm not going, but I'm happy with the trade I made.
Yeah, absolutely. What position you play in basketball?
Point guard.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I feel it. Yeah, but nobody's really that tall at your age, right? I mean, I'm sure there's a few kids that have sprouted up or whatever, but I think mostly everybody's trying to find themselves and going through that stage in life. So you good basketball player?
I'm decent. I mean, like, I'm not like super fast or anything, but like, I'm
You a shooter?
Yeah, I'm pretty good.
All right. I like it. Nice. He's got a corner three. I like it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Are you a good passer? That's really it as a point guard. You just got to be a good passer. Can you distribute the ball?
Yeah. I mean, that's probably one of the better things I'm good at.
That's all you need.
I honestly like doing it because when you get like a nice pass, you just feel good. It's like, oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like you're basically the quarterback on the court.
Yep. Distribute
Absolutely. Ball. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's on your mind then?
So I want to like this football season. It was fun because like I feel like everybody was messing with me because they were like, "I think you're like a little overreacting on Devo here. I wouldn't say he'd go that far, but I mean I think he could go here. He's doing better than what I thought. I think I said coming in overall yards. I think I said 1,200, and some people called me crazy. Some people said he's not even reaching 1,000. Dude's got 1,000 catching yards alone. And past couple games, he's only had like one catch other than the last one.
Right.
But the weird thing is to me is that we've heard about how they're basically kind of almost fully making the change to running back for him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's such a playmaker, right? I get he gets injured when he's in the backfield a lot. But to me, it is I mean, I'm not complaining of how he's doing, but if you look at the past, let's say, 3-4 games, his touches have like you got to understand at a running back, they get around 20 carries a game, and even with Elijah Mitchell, I was like, oh, I mean, I know people are talking about Jeff Wilson, but I think Debo could get like 15 carries because that's what a running back gets. He's been a receiver and a running back at the same time, and his receiving touches have gone down like tremendously. So my thought is, if he's such a big playmaker, then why aren't we trying to get him the ball more in the receiving game, or just turning him into a full-time running back so he can get, those 15 carries a game, especially with Mitchell out.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's crazy because I think we all have this perception like, oh man, we can't run Debo, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people get mad when Debo lines up in the backfield and runs the ball up the middle when the game was out of hand, it seemed last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
But reality is Debo hasn't gotten hurt at all one time from contact. Never.
Yeah.
He's gotten hurt from soft tissue injuries. It's a groin, a hamstring, what have you. It's not from playing running back. So he really could play any one of those positions. I think he's just such a weapon. Line him up anywhere. And that's what's great about it. You could line up in a spread set and then motion down based off of what you see, and he's your running back. You can motion out, you can motion. I mean, there's so much that they can do pre-snap to just confuse the defense and put them in stressful situations. I think the other thing is this, and maybe this is a wrinkle that they're saving for the playoffs, although I doubt it. I would like to see him do kickoff returns as well. I mean, why not get the ball in his hands as much as possible?
That's what I was thinking, literally since the beginning of the season, because you know me, I've known him since he was in college. I even watched his highlights before he came in. So I've seen this guy for a while. This dude, at one point in his senior season, had set the record he had the most out of anybody of touchdowns off of kick returns.
Yeah.
He's good at it. He's dynamic.
He's really good at it.
They'd kick it away from him.
Yep.
Because that's what he is. When he gets the ball as a running back, he can get 8 carries. but he's got 8 carries like a couple games in a row. He's gotten like 1 touchdown off of a break off run like almost every time. Jacksonville, he had like a 25-yard one. Atlanta, he had a 20-yard one, I believe. What was the other one? Oh, it left my mind, but it was. See, there's so many I can't even remember.
He does this every game.
He does it every game. Minnesota is what it was. It was 25 yards again, and then it was the game that he went down. He got like a, I don't know, it was like a 60-yard run, and he got down on the 5. Like, that's what Debo is. He's explosive. That is, I will say, the only reason I would consider not turning him into one position only is because he can do it all, so you want him at all of that, and 2, he's so explosive that when he does get put in that position, he's gonna make bigger plays when he's in it. So that's why I think like kick return is perfect for him.
Yeah, you're right. Just get the ball in his hands. No matter what you got to do, he should be touching the ball minimum, I would say 12 times a game, minimum.
Yes.
And if you can get him up towards the 15 to 17, that's even better. So, whether that's he catches 5 passes, he runs the ball 8 times, and then he takes the kickoffs, whatever you got to do, that should be the game plan. Just get the ball in Debo's hands, however you got to do it. And like I said, the contact is not hurting Debo. It's the soft tissue stuff, which can happen on any play. He's not afraid of contact. And if anything, people seem to shy away from his contact. So I'm not worried about the contact side of Debo at all.
No, neither am I. I mean, as I was saying about the kickoffs, the dude, like, they had to kick away from him. I remember one time, it was against Ole Miss. They tried to squib kick it to our tight end so that he wouldn't get the ball. Our tight end dropped it. Debo picked it up with one hand and still ran it all the way back.
Yeah, he's incredible. He's absolutely incredible. He's such a weapon. And I love that you're a South Carolina fan and you got to see Debo in college, and all these things that you're bringing back. That yes, he was a kickoff returner in college, and he was a dynamic one. Why not get the ball in his hand? I mean, at this point, it's definitely not going to be any worse. It's really, really bad back there. Hasty can't even feel the ball. Ayuk, as far as punts go, I don't necessarily know if I want him doing punts, but I thought Ayuk would be really dynamic as a punt returner. He's been anything but. He's kind of it's just not a good fit for him. I thought it would be, but kickoffs are different, and I think Debo would be really, really scary back there. Antonio Brown did it early in his career.
Exactly. And if I'm not wrong, I do remember I was watching, I think it was the Seattle game. Trent Cannon, I think, had like 2 turnovers when he was back there. They took Cannon out, put Debo in. He came in, I think he brought it out to like the 40-yard line or something. Why not try it? I mean, if you're
are you talking about the first Seattle game?
Yeah, when it was at home. And he had 2 turnovers, or when Trent Cannon fumbled the ball. I remember they brought Debo in, and he brought out to like the 35 or 40.
Yeah.
Off of one return.
Yeah, you're right. They did do that, didn't they? I completely forgot about that. You're absolutely right. They did put Debo at kick returner in that first Seattle game. Yeah, you're right about that.
Well, thank you for having me on. This was a great time, and I'd love to do it again.
Yeah, yes, sir. It's good hearing from you, man. Good luck in your basketball season. Have a happy holiday, bud, and I hope you're able to call in again soon. All right.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Later. Okay. All right. Let me get to this super chat. What's up, Bay? All right. I'm going to get to this super chat, and then I'm going to get to the notorious one. All right. So Matthew Sanders says, "What's up, Jesse? Followed you from Grant. Strange stats for the Niners offense. First in red zone scoring. First in long TD drives. Okay. Best on first down. Worst in third and short." Ooh. That last one gets me. The red zone scoring is based off of a percentage, which they're doing really good. First and long TD drives. That doesn't surprise me, right? The Rams game comes to mind. The Jaguars game comes to mind. Best on first down. So I'm assuming they're going based off of total yards gained on first down. Makes a lot of sense. They run the ball really well. And then worst on third and short. That's interesting. Well, I can tell you this. Kyle Shanahan offenses have been really good on third and long historically. You look at, I think Jimmy Garoppolo. So this is since 2018. Jimmy Garoppolo ranks first. Mullins ranks 4th and Beathard ranks 6th or 8th in the whole league for 3rd and long. So that's something that the 49ers have done well, regardless of who's been at quarterback. So that one, but the 3rd and short does surprise me a little bit. Those are some interesting numbers. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. But around here, when anybody gives some love, we give love back. So this is for you, my guy. All right. Let me bring in the notorious one, Mr. Mike Miller. You like these nicknames I have for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Y'all want to hear some stats about Debo? He's talking about Debo, so I'm going to give some Debo stats.
All right.
He has 18 catches of 20 yards plus.
Okay.
He has 6 catches of 40 yards plus.
Okay.
Rushing, he has 5 rushes, 20 yards plus, and 140 yards plus. That's his stats for the season.
Talk about dynamic. My gosh. Yeah. That's dynamic.
They're more than what's his name was just saying. That sounds better when you read them off like that.
Yeah, it definitely does. It definitely does sound better, but he's super dynamic. What do you think about the kickoff return? You think Debo, we should put him back there for kickoff returns? Not punt, but kickoff.
I think we need to draft somebody to actually do that. I don't like putting wide receivers and stuff like that back there to get injured, because a lot of times when you try to do that, you get some severe hits on you. You know, as far as the punt side of it, more so than the run side or kickoff return side, I should say. You know?
Yeah, I don't want him to return punts, but kickoff returns, I feel like might be a good spot for him.
Yeah. I'm just counting down. You know, it's 4 games till Jimmy G's done.
Yeah, we'll see. I was going to say
playoff loss. I mean, we haven't beat a winning team all season long, and the only reason we're on this Jimmy G kick right now is because we have probably the worst schedule as far as the easiest schedule in the last half of the season. You know, let's face the facts.
Yeah,
we're playing a bunch of weak teams.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, that's going into the season. The reason that a lot of us picked the 49ers to be like 12-5, 13-4 is because the schedule was really easy.
Yeah, it's one of the easiest schedules in the entire NFL.
That's why it was so frustrating when they were losing early on, because we knew that those are games that they could have and should have won, right? And so now that at least now, here's what I'll say, Mike. Here's the difference. At least now, like, I look at the Jacksonville game and I look at this Falcons game, they're beating teams by a wide margin that they should be by a wide margin. That is usually a sign of a good team. So I'm not saying that they are really good. I still don't know what the 49ers are. But that being said, the 49ers are at least showing that they are a much better team than they were 6-8 weeks ago.
I mean, if Tennessee had Derrick Henry tomorrow, what would you think about the game?
Oh, I thought it was a scheduled loss going into the season, so I would be saying scheduled loss. Yeah, for sure.
You're not the only one. I'd say probably 99% of the entire NFL world had as a loss if Derrick Henry is there tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And it still may be a loss. Tennessee is no joke. Like, anybody who thinks that this is going to be 49ers are going to roll in, they're going to win, and we're going to have a happy Christmas. Trust me, Tennessee is legit. So this is going to be a good test. If they, on short notice, if they can go into Tennessee and get a win, that's a good win, regardless of whether Henry's there or not, because that defense is locked and loaded. And it sounds like both those receivers are going to play, which at first that was not the case. So that means that Tennessee is still going to be a problem.
I mean, I just look back at the Arizona game when we were playing the middle school team of Arizona and got our butts kicked by literally people that shouldn't even be in the NFL, literally kicked the snot out of us. And that's why I've never gotten on the bandwagon train again. You know, just you don't lose to players like that and expect to go anywhere in the season, in my book.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just counting the days down to Jimmy's gone. And, you know, I heard now that Trey Lance was playing with a broken finger against Arizona and could have won the game. No wonder they handed the ball off to him 18 or 20 times that time. Or not handed it off, but let him run the ball, you know, and didn't let him pass and stuff during that game because he had a broken finger. I mean,
Yeah,
You know,
well, and he had that. We knew about that, right? But we thought it was healed by
I
then.
never knew he had a broken finger until it came out today from Grant.
Oh, you really didn't know that? Yeah, he had broke it
Uh-uh.
against
Never knew that. I thought he had a hamstring problem.
No, it was a finger, and it was, I want to say it was in the preseason.
Yeah, that's what
I could be
he said. It
wrong.
was in the last preseason game that he
Yeah.
had broke his finger. And
Yeah.
I always thought, when he was injured at time, that it was a hamstring or whatever. And
No,
I didn't know it was the finger was broke.
And it was on his throwing hand, by the way.
Oh yeah, on
It
his
was,
throwing
yeah, it was on
hand.
his
No
throwing
wonder he
hand,
was
yeah.
throwing some ducks and didn't look as good and stuff.
Right.
I understand now. And when our All Pro Fred Warner comes up and says, Trey's tearing our asses up in camp, or not in camp, but in practice and stuff.
Practice, yeah.
He's tearing the first stringers up too. That's what the practice squad does. It tears the first string defense up. So
Yeah.
it's I can see him, coming out next year and being the Patrick Mahomes type of the NFL, light it up next year. So I'm praying to God this happens.
I hope so. What do you think about this week 18? I mean, I think the way that this is kind of playing out, it looks like going into that final game, the Rams are probably gonna have the 5th seed locked up.
Mm-hmm.
The 49ers are going to be that's the only difference. The Rams may be fighting for the division. That's the only, but outside of that, I think the 49ers are really going to have nothing to play for, which means we might see Trey Lance all week 18. That would be something exciting, at least.
Yeah, I'd be interested in watching the game again, kind of. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I hope we win. I'm not down on the Niners. If we win a Super Bowl, so be it. I'd love to have that. I'd love to have the next Super Bowl ring. Yeah. But I just don't see it happening. I mean, I'm just, I'm trying not to be the Grinch of Niner football, but I don't believe in Jimmy's going to ever win a Super Bowl for anybody, no matter where.
By the way, I don't think it's a knock on Jimmy to say those things, right? I think people get sideways when you say it. Let me throw some things out to people just so that they understand kind of where Mike's coming from on this. Okay. So if you look since 1988, only one quarterback since 1988 has won a Super Bowl that hasn't made a Pro Bowl at some point in their career. That was Joe Flacco. Okay. Trent Dilfert made a Pro Bowl. Foles made a Pro Bowl. All those guys made Pro Bowls.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's only been 6 total Super Bowls won by guys that are not Hall of Famers since 1988. And that's if you include Eli Manning in that stat, assuming he doesn't make the Hall of Fame, which there's a good chance he does. If he does, then that goes down to, I believe, only 4 wins since 1988 by non-Hall of Fame quarterbacks. So the likelihood, based off those numbers I just gave you, of Jimmy Garoppolo winning this team a Super Bowl is very slim to none. Now, those types of quarterbacks like Jimmy do make Super Bowls often. They just never get over the hump and win it.
You'd have a better chance of winning the Mega Millions than Jimmy winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it really would be that big of a deal. If Jimmy Garoppolo won a Super Bowl, especially this year, he would break so many different statistics that go against him. The percentage of the salary, all the stats that I just threw out, the quarterbacks making it to a Super Bowl and losing their first time through. No quarterback has come back and won it after that unless they're Hall of Fame quarterback. Like, there's a lot of things that go against Jimmy Garoppolo actually winning a Super Bowl. I don't think people understand that.
Oh, I'd love to see him win a Super Bowl so we can get a first-round pick or 2 first-round picks for him so we can finally get a cornerback that I love.
Yeah.
We gotta have a cornerback. And I've always said we're not gonna win nothing until we get a corner. At least 1-star top 5 corner,
Yeah.
New England's the winningest team in the last 20 years, and what are they always known for? Their secondary. They've always had the best secondary in the league, hands down. So,
yeah.
All right. Well,
what about that?
I will let you go. And
all right, brother. Have a Merry Christmas, man. We'll talk next week.
Yep. Later.
All right, brother. Bye. All right. Let me, I don't have anybody backstage right now. So if you want to call in, now is the time to do so. But while I've got nobody calling in, I am going to switch this banner and then talk about some other things that are on my mind until we get somebody to call in. All right. So let me pull these up here. Okay. I want to talk a little bit about Ambry Thomas. So, for those of you, first of all, those of you that aren't subscribed to the channel, do that, please. Show some love, hit the bell notification so you never miss an episode. That's one. Also, I do have a Patreon. All that is linked down in the description. If you are a part of the Patreon, you got to see my breakdown of Ambry Thomas this last week. And Ambry Thomas is getting a lot of guff, a lot of things said about him, that he's not good, he's overmatched, bad draft pick. All these things are being said about Ambry Thomas. Now, there are some people that are giving him props and realize what's going on, but I got to be honest. I knew that it wasn't as bad as what we initially thought. Ambry Thomas definitely has had his moments where he's gotten mossed a little bit the last couple games, right? And that's tough. You see that and you think, oh man, Ambry Thomas is not necessarily the best corner. Maybe he is a bust. What's he doing out there? But a couple of things that we have to keep in mind. One, we have to remember that we were all calling for these rookies to play. Almost everybody. Whether it was Lance, Ambry Thomas, Lenore, Mitchell, Sermon, what have you, Banks, we all wanted these guys to develop. So now that Ambry Thomas is out there and he is having his struggles, we have to know that he's going to go through growing pains. We cannot be this impatient with the rookies and make an assumption that these guys just aren't good players. That's something that we cannot do. We have to be patient. But I have to tell you, after watching Ambry Thomas play for a full game, he's actually pretty damn good. Now, again, there was 3 plays in that Falcons game where he kind of got mossed, but there was also 2 plays where he dang near had an interception. And I'm going to tell you, that very first drive where the 49ers fumbled the opening kickoff and then they stopped the Falcons on the 4th down, that was a big 4th down stop. But a big reason why that happened, Tart made a hell of a play. Ambry Thomas is a big reason why that play was able to be made. Let me tell you why. So basically, you have Ambry Thomas on the far outside covering a receiver, and you have Tart right over Pitts. What they tried to do was the receiver tried to push off and get Ambry Thomas in the way of Tart so that Pitts could run directly underneath him, and that would open up Pitts to get an easy touchdown. Well, what happened is Tart skimmed right over the top and was able to get there and make a play. And the reason he was able to do that is because Ambry Thomas jammed the receiver and held his spot. If Ambry Thomas gets pushed back a half a yard further, that's a touchdown. So Ambry Thomas was actually a big reason why that play was made by Tart. Without Ambry Thomas doing what he did on that play, Tart's not able to get over there, and the Falcons walk in for an easy touchdown to start that game, and who knows what happens after that. So Ambry Thomas is doing some good things, and I got to be real with you. Play in and play out, Ambry Thomas is doing a really good job. He's there with receivers. He's glued to their hips. Even if he makes a bad play, he's right back in it. He's aggressive, super aggressive. I was really impressed with his zone ability, being that he was a press man corner coming out of college. I was extremely impressed with his zone skill set. I think he did a really good job throughout the most of that game. And even those plays where he gave up catches, Matt Ryan made incredible throws. And I do mean incredible throws, perfectly placed. And the receivers did a great job going up and getting the ball. So Ambry Thomas plays really, really well, in my opinion. So I'm not saying that we should rely on him to be the starter next year and don't bring in anybody else. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is Ambry Thomas is probably going to be a good player for the 49ers, an eventual starter. And I'm encouraged by what I saw. He has to track the ball slightly better at the catch point, but he does a good job with his athleticism. He does a good job getting physical at the line of scrimmage. He does a good job not getting lost off of players' hips. It's just that final step that he's missing. And I don't think that's that big of a deal. Again, you see bad things on TV and you make this assumption that Ambry's not a good player. After watching him play, like I said, am extremely, extremely encouraged with Ambry Thomas and his play. And for those of you that are subscribed to the Patreon, you got to see that breakdown. And hopefully you are also encouraged with Ambry Thomas's play after watching that film with me, because I saw a lot of really, really good things. So let's see what you guys have to say about it. Okay, so yeah, so Rob says, I thought he looked good. Good coverage, even though he got beat. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's, corners get beat in the league. That's just the way that things work. So, yeah, I have no issue with the way that Ambry Thomas played. T Dizzle says your boy Grant Cohn is the main hater talking smack about Ambry. Won't even listen when his good plays are pointed out. Yeah, I don't know. It sucks because I wanted to do, obviously I do a show with Grant usually every Wednesday, but he's out in Nashville and we just weren't able to make it work with our time. So I wanted to do a show this week with Grant because I heard that he was down on Ambry Thomas. I completely disagree. I am, and to be fair, I don't know if Grant's seen the film. I'm not sure that he has. Maybe he has, maybe he hasn't. If he has, and that's still his takeaway that Ambry's not good, then I want to hear why he thinks that. But if he hasn't, then like a lot of people, it's fair to say that he just doesn't know how good Ambry Thomas looks play in and play out. So, I'm not going to hold his feet to the fire on that unless I know he's watched the film. But yeah, he's definitely much lower on Ambry Thomas than I am. That's for damn sure. Matt says Ambry Thomas, Ambry's going to have his ups and his downs. He's a rookie playing the second hardest position of football. I might say it's the hardest, but I'm there with you. It's extremely hard. I think it's personally the hardest, but maybe quarterback, you can give the nod there. Give him till the end of his rookie contract until you judge him. Yeah, I mean, I think the rule of thumb on rookies is year 3. Year 3 is when you really know. What you want to see from young players is you want to see them ascending, you want to see flashes, and you just want to see that development. As long as you can see those things, which I'm already seeing, by the way. This was a kid that genuinely was not good enough to get on the field for a big chunk of the season. Then he was forced in a situation where he had to play. He really got cooked quite a bit in that Cincinnati game. Even then, there was still some good things that came from it. And I think he improved in this Atlanta game. So we're already seeing that ascension from him, which is what we want to see. I've already seen flashes on film, which is what I want to see. So year 3, we'll see what Ambry Thomas is, but I really do believe in the kid. I think Thomas will end up being shut down. Yeah, well, listen, I'm not going that far. It's tough to be a shutdown corner in the league, but I think he can be really good. I guess it depends on what you mean as shutdown, right? Like, are you talking Revis Island shutdown? Or are you talking Mosley shutdown? If you're talking Mosley shutdown, yeah, I think he could be there, right? And he didn't play football for a year. Yeah, good point. Good point. George Bailey says, doesn't he run a 4.3? Yes, he does. He's extremely quick. Extremely quick. And again, he's built well for the NFL. He's physical. There was a play where I want to say it was right after he had given up the completion to Pitts on the sideline. It was like 2 plays later. He was on Pitts again, was not afraid. Completely jammed him at the point, and Pitts couldn't get off the line. So, again, Pitts is a big, strong, physical guy. The only person I saw do that to Pitts, by the way, in college, J.C. Horn, who I have a total man crush on and wanted to be a 49er. So, yeah, I agree. I mean, there's a lot to like there, and that 4.3 speed is one of those things. All right, I do have another caller, so I'm not going to make them wait anymore. We've had some issues the last couple weeks. So, George, hopefully I can hear you this week. We'll see. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Hey, let me put my buds in real quick. Hang on.
Yeah. Go ahead. I feel it. Yeah, you're good.
Hey, yeah, last week. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Alrighty. So, like last week, I've been hearing a lot of Niner fans online saying that Jimmy G is he's the second coming of Joe Montana. And they're all downgrading Trey Lance, saying that it was a mistake getting Trey. And all I gotta say to all my Niner fans that's in this conversation, in the chat, you have not seen the kid play. We have not seen the kid even perform. Gotta calm down. Jimmy G is doing great. I'm happy for him. He's not making mistakes. He's not making turnovers. He's not causing the game. That's the only thing I'm happy about. But understand, if you put the kid in the same situation, you're gonna have the exact same record that we have now, and you'll be playing much better coming into next season. That's all I'm trying to say. I saw this all online yesterday saying that why did we trade for Trey Lance? He was a waste of draft pick, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, guys, relax. Jimmy G's having a good stretch. That's good. But calling him the second coming of Joe Montana, saying that he's worth the money that we pay him, it's a stretch. That's all I'm trying to mainly
George,
keep.
Out of curiosity, when you say online, is this Facebook?
Yeah, no. It's YouTube.
Oh, on YouTube. Oh, really? Okay.
YouTube and Facebook.
Okay. The reason I ask if it's Facebook, by the way, I'm in a ton of 49er Facebook groups. I use it personally to post the content and drive people to the channel. And there's a lot of good people that come from Facebook. So thank you, anybody who saw this on Facebook and is here. I appreciate you. But some of the takes in there are just absolutely wild, right? Like there's so many people in those Facebook forums right now. It's okay to back Jimmy G, right? He's the quarterback right now. You should do that. He's your quarterback. But to then throw a rookie under the bus who is going to be here hopefully for the next 15 plus years running this franchise, call him a bust, say he's a waste of picks, he needs to be traded. I don't know where you're at, but though you then say that if you are rooting for Trey Lance to play now and all these other things, you're saying that you're not a true 49er fan. But then on the flip side, you're basically saying that this rookie is terrible and he shouldn't be on the team. Like that, I don't get that mentality at all.
That's why I'm not understanding either. Like when he had to play for Jimmy G in the Arizona game, Kyle did not run the exact same system that he ran with Jimmy G in there. That's why I'm trying to get everybody to understand, like, Kyle just basically ran him to the ground. Kyle ran him until he got hurt. Kyle was the one that chose not to run the exact same system in there. I just got this I got this thinking that Kyle don't want the league to see what Trey is going to do in his system because he's scared. He knows Trey is going to do a lot better than Jimmy G, and that's going to ruin Jimmy G's stock. That's what I'm feeling, and I think that's what Kyle is not trying to do. He's trying to get Jimmy G out of here because if Kyle let the kid run his system and he does it much better than Jimmy Garoppolo, the kid already know the playbook way faster than Jimmy. It took literally the kid is on the bench and he already know all the playbook. It took Jimmy G 2 years to learn the playbook. I'm like, wow, that is amazing. That showed that the kid is a hard worker. He's committed. He's always have his nose in the books. He's always trying to strive to be better. That's what you want from a starting quarterback. That's what you need from a starting quarterback, to always want to be better than what he is the next day. That's why I'm just having this feeling like Kyle don't want the league to know that Jimmy G is a backup quarterback. He pretty much don't want the league to see Trey flourish in his system, because I really do honestly think that Trey is way better in that system than even Jimmy G. But they're trying to get Jimmy G contract off the books, so they don't want him to ruin that opportunity for them to get Jimmy G off the books. Because like if the kid run Kyle's system, man, RG3 ran Kyle's system, and you saw what RG3 can do. RG3 is not even better than Trey. In my opinion, Trey is a lot much better, much durable than RG3. If RG3 can run the system to that level and win Rookie of the Year and almost won an MVP, I'm like, bro, what is the kid gonna do in that system? He's gonna do much better.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. And here's the thing, right? I think that both things, by the way, can be true, right? I think that you're either on the side of, he should have started week 1 come hell or high water, which, hey, right here, I'm that guy.
Yes.
Or, hey, he needs to sit for a year, maybe 2, right? I think the truth could be a little bit of both, okay? I think it's fair to say that sitting, you're going to get the best. The moment that he plays, he's going to naturally be better than what he would have week 1 of year 1, right? I think that's fair to say. I also think it's fair to say that he could have kept this offense afloat while learning on the fly. I think both things can be true. I don't think there's a right or a wrong answer in how to develop. I personally think playing him was the right answer, but I think there are multiple ways to skin a cat here. I think that if you're just looking at how he runs the offense as a rookie, probably not on the level of Jimmy, who's 8 years in the league and been the quarterback here now for 4 years, right? But that doesn't
Yeah.
mean that he shouldn't have played day 1, right? So I see really both sides of the argument. I genuinely do. Yes.
And the one thing I'm trying to say is that, like, if Kyle would have took the exact same approach to what Bill Belichick is doing in New England, they would have had the exact same record, even or maybe even better. Cause like if you would have got Jimmy G off the books, 1, we would have had corners. 2, we would have filled a lot of holes in our defense and got rid of a lot of pieces that we don't need. I honestly think if we would have got Jimmy G contract off the books, we could have got a lot of corners that was in free agency last year. We could have got even Stephon Gilmore was out there. We could have gotten him. Gilmore. I know he's not doing good in Carolina, but I'm saying like all that possibility that would have happened if we would have got Jimmy G contract off the books.
Is he doing bad in Carolina? I felt like he's been doing fine.
He struggled. Like I watched the Carolina game last Sunday. He struggled. He even got beat. He got beat by Stephon Diggs in a cut route that he used to stop that a lot. I think it's just Carolina defensive scheme is not meant for him. He's more of a man corner. They are playing more of he's a man press corner, but they're playing more off. Like he's playing more zone. He's playing more like a Richard Sherman role in Carolina. So he's struggling in that situation. I don't think he's a zone corner, but that's what I'm saying. Like if we would have brought him here, our new defensive coordinator play man press, right? Don't our new defensive coordinator like to play press man corner all day, right? That's the right person to have in that system. We could have got him. We could have got a lot of corners from free agency that we would not be saying. I honestly think if we would have got rid of this contract that we have on the books right now, Jimmy G contract, 1, we would have filled our holes. 2, we would have people are literally saying if the Niners get into the playoff, they're going to get knocked out in the first round. I've been hearing a lot of media people saying that the Niners get in, they're going to make a run. But some media people are saying y'all are going too far. Who is going to guard these receivers that's in the playoff? Who's going to guard the Cowboys wide receivers? Who's going to guard the Green Bay Packers wide receivers? Who's going to guard the Buccaneers 2 wide receivers that's going to be there? We're going to get exposed because we made these mistakes in the offseason. That like our corner is going to be the reason why we get knocked out, or Jimmy G is going to be the reason that why we get knocked out. Well, I think Kyle can neutralize that by just running the ball. But there's a lot of good defense that's going to be in the playoffs. I really hope that we do play Arizona. That's the only team that I could see us beating because they're not going to beat us 3 times. It's very hard because they're in there. We're division rivals. But I'm saying, like, if we face the Buccaneers, face the Cowboys, face even the Green Bay Packers, we will get beat in the first round. Guarantee. It'll be an embarrassment to even watch because I know that Dallas can run the ball down our throat all day long. Or they can throw it.
I personally am not I'm going to talk about these matchups here in a minute.
It's very bad either way.
More callers, but I think the 49ers can win all those games. But I agree. No matter what, George, whoever they face, they're going to be downed and outgunned a little bit because of the quarterback position. That's the way it works, right? The quarterback position is the most important, especially come playoff time. Jimmy's not better than Tom Brady. He's not better than Dak. He's not better than Aaron Rodgers. He's not better than Kyler Murray or Stafford. Like, no matter what, it's going to be an
A running
issue
game.
for the 49ers. Yes. And everything is going to have to go perfect. Everything else. Debo's going to have to be on point. Kittle, the defense, Jimmy's going to have to make no turnovers, right? So,
And that's very hard. That is very hard for Jimmy.
it's extremely hard. Yes.
Because if he does not have the running game, I promise you he's going to struggle. Like, Dallas have a good secondary. They can Trayvon Diggs, all them boys on Dallas, they can literally be able to stop that underneath coverage and to literally stop that underneath throwing. Because Jimmy G don't see linebackers. He doesn't see the middle linebackers at all. I'm sorry. I've seen all of his tapes. He just does not see the middle linebacker. I don't know why you are been in the league for this long. You cannot see the guy that's right in front of you every single play. You're not able to call him out. Watch out for 54. Watch out for 57. Watch out for 51. That's what I'm saying. Like, he does not see the middle linebackers. I'm not trying to be a butt of bad news, but I'm just saying, Niner fans, hold the brakes, calm down. We have not seen a rookie. We have not seen anything what he's gonna do. We have not seen Jimmy G carry our team on his own arm.
Yeah.
He's relying on his weapons and his running game. Relax. He's not the second coming of Joe Montana. He's not Aaron Rodgers. He is not Tom Brady. He's not even Dak Prescott. He's not even Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
None of those guys. The league is even having him rank as the #1 quarterback in passer ratings. That is not Dick and Dunks. That I'm glad that brings his stats up. That's good, but he's not. Just relax. He's not. Yeah. He's not that guy. Trust me, he's not that guy.
Listen, I think this game is going to be big, George, because Thursday night, right? Tomorrow night, we're going to see, because Tennessee's a really good defense. Now, I hope Jimmy G shows out. I really do. Maybe something's different, and I hope Jimmy G shows out. We'll see what happens. I'm excited to see it. Do you think the 49ers win tomorrow? Before I let you go, do you think the 49ers win tomorrow?
I want the Niners to win really bad, but the Tennessee got a pretty good defensive line, and they're ranked. I think they're ranked 3rd or 4th in run stop defense, aren't they? So, like, if they're able to stop the run, they're 2nd in run stop defense, right? So I'm like, that's a lot of red flags. And Tennessee got some really good corners out there, and they got a real damn good safety.
Yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that.
I really do want the Niners to win, but everything that I see, it's a lot of red flags.
For sure.
I'm saying that they may lose this game. In my heart, I want them to win. I have Tennessee winning 37-24, in my opinion.
Okay.
I think Jimmy G's gonna
George, I hate to cut you off. I've got an intriguing caller back that I got to figure out. His name is Ye. He looks like Kanye West. I swear on my life. I gotta. No, I'm not joking. I gotta see this. If this is an impersonator or what have you, I'm curious to see about this.
Brother. I'll talk to you next week. All right. I got Tennessee winning.
All right, brother.
I'm hoping the Niners
20-17.
Take care, brother.
All right, brother. That was pretty sick. All right. Pinor, what's up, man?
Yo, what's up, Jess, man? Jeez. Feels like a long time I haven't been on here. I don't know why.
Did you not call in last week?
No, I actually didn't. At least I don't believe I did.
Yeah, well, listen, I didn't.
Yeah. But either way, interesting about Ambry Thomas. I think that's probably, like, excluding the Jimmy talk, right? I think that Ambry Thomas is probably the most intriguing point of the week, in my opinion, because we don't know who's still going to be cleared or not for the Titans as far as their receivers go. So, so I actually am a fan of Ambry Thomas. I get it that people don't like him because of him getting mossed or whatever, him getting beat, I believe the same thing what you said. Pretty much. Well, for me, it's just the fact that he's in the vicinity. It tells me a lot that he's not necessarily getting beat by like 5 or 10 yards, So that's my opinion on Ambry. I think that he knows how to stay with receivers, and obviously he's not with like burners. Let's just say like Tyreek Hill or anything like that. but it still shows me a lot because those passes that were thrown, I feel like were very difficult to cover to begin with. So I like the fact that he's keeping up with receivers. Now, the only part that I question going forward is can you pretty much defend? Can you be aggressive enough and fight for that ball in the air? That's my question with him. And I need to talk to Crocker more about it because obviously, as far as all the DBs go, he can talk about a thing or two, and point us out to what he could do. But yeah, for me, I think that that's the most interesting point about the defense. As far as offense goes, it sucks that Mitchell's not going to play because I feel like that just did not. Now I don't have as much confidence, and I don't like the way that we utilize Debo, man. I feel like sometimes we rely on players like Debo so much that it gets them hurt. But yeah, I think we can beat them though. It's not unrealistic. I think that, especially when me and you were in that space and that kid was like talking about,
A Titans fan, right?
Tannehill. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was talking about him. I'm like, dude, he is describing Jimmy Garoppolo so much right now, even bringing up 2019 being significant and all these other things. I was like, bro, what the how are you describing Jimmy right now? It was so weird.
Right.
But
yeah,
yeah,
he was like everything he was saying about Tannehill. It was Jimmy Garoppolo, right? Like that was
yeah,
bro, that was
it was so nuts, man. And I like
Yeah.
the fact that he wasn't just a casual fan either. Like he actually knew a thing or two. So I liked us talking to him back and forth and stuff. But here's a question I have for you. Do you feel like there is a bias with Ambry and you judging him because he went to Oregon? Or not Oregon, my bad.
No, I was gonna say Ambry Thomas went to Michigan.
Yeah,
Lenore
no, my
went to
bad.
Yeah, Lenore went
You're
to
an Oregon guy, my bad. So he's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
Michigan guy. Okay, my
Yeah.
bad. You know what? I'm getting you mixed up.
No, it's
And
all
then
good.
not only that, but Nick already told me that he hates Michigan so much. I guess he's an Ohio State fan. And I'm
He
just
is,
like,
yeah.
okay, all right, whatever. You guys are into college so damn much. It's ridiculous. But nah, man. I actually wanted to ask you this, right? Do you feel like going forward, because I mean, obviously, I think we have the Rams number. I think that, obviously we could beat the Texans. So after this game, do you feel like going forward, do you care what seed we're going to get or anything like that? Like, do you care about the matchup we're going to have in the playoffs, the first round, a lot? Or do you feel like, if we lose, it's Trey Lance season next year? Like, how do you feel about the playoffs? Do you want us to go very far with Jimmy, or how do you feel about it all?
Yeah, I want to win as much as possible. I mean, once we're in, shoot, if somehow I threw out a lot of stats as to why Jimmy G is not going to win a Super Bowl or why it would be really hard for him to win a Super Bowl just based off
Yeah.
of history of the NFL. But that doesn't mean I don't want him to win. I mean, shoot, if Jimmy G comes back because they win a Super Bowl, I'll take that. Like that's a win, right? Like the 49ers winning a Super Bowl for the first time in, I don't know, 26 years or so. I'm
Mhm.
taking that. No doubt about it, because we have bragging rights. I don't care what happens at the quarterback situation. I just want the 49ers to win. So yeah, I'm definitely rooting for the 49ers to win. That being said, when they lose, I'm not going to be upset because we know that Trey Lance is there, right? And we have that to look forward to
Exactly.
next year. So it takes the sting away if they lose, but I'm rooting for them to win big time. Big time.
Okay. Well, the way I feel about it, because I mean, when we're talking on the spaces and even outside the spaces, a lot of people want certain matchups, and I get that. For me, I don't care if we lose, only because the inevitable is Trey Lance next year. And I think that a lot of people that support Jimmy, it's going to be refreshing not to deal with them anymore. And I get it that it's weird to me when I see people say that, well, he might be a bust. Like it's almost like you're already having a negative vibe towards Trey Lance, even though he did nothing to really, deserve that, in my opinion, coming from you. But either way, I really do. I just want the process to hurry. I don't know if that makes any sense. Just hurry it up. If you're not going to be a Super Bowl team, which I don't believe they are, I get it that we could be lucky, and especially the way everything's going with the seeding and everything. Certain teams aren't as strong as I thought they would be, but I just want us to hurry up and figure out, okay, you guys going to lose now? You guys going to lose then? You guys going to win the Super Bowl? Or, whatever. Because next season, the inevitable is Trey Lance. There's nothing that any Jimmy sexual can do about that. and you can't stop
Twitter terms.
You cannot stop Trey Lance next season. Yeah. And I'm not sorry that you guys have to have a great quarterback going forward. He's a great quarterback. I can guarantee it that he is going to be our guy. And I have high expectations for him. And, people can hate me for this, but I really think that towards the end of his career, I think he's going to be in the Mount Rushmore for 49er quarterbacks out there. When you talk about Montana's, Steve Young's, Trey Lance is going to be that next guy, and there's nothing that no one could do to stop that. Well, obviously, there's a lot of things that could happen, but I can't control nothing. Neither can you, but you also can't control the fact that he's going to start next season. So that's just how I feel about the team right now. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to root for them to win, but when they eventually lose, that sting will be a little bit less because I know that it's time to see the rookie, right? It's time to see Trey Lance play, and it's starting to look like Trey Lance may play in Week 18, just the way things are lining up. So hopefully, we get to see a sneak preview of Trey Lance a little bit in Week 18. I'm not holding my breath on it, but I think that would be a good way to wet the whistle of the future, while also prepping for the playoffs and getting excited about that. So,
yep. And, just great work, Jesse. And definitely got to get into that Patreon account of yours. I need to see what you're talking about, man. Yeah, because
listen, I break down film in there. Yeah, I'm breaking down film in there. Yeah. I spent a couple weeks on Jimmy Garoppolo because, there was a lot of talk of him having really good games and being really good. And I wanted to see for myself. And it was same old Jimmy, right? Like, again, not necessarily the worst thing in the world, but he's not just out there making these amazing plays. I can promise you there's a lot that he's leaving on the field. And that Cincinnati game specifically, this is what I found was there was an opportunity for him to put that game away before all that chaos happened. And he didn't do it because he wouldn't make a 10-yard out pattern throw for a first down and keep a clock rolling. So, there's a lot that we're seeing on the Patreon. And then the Ambry Thomas one was really, really eye-opening for me. So yeah, if you do tap in over there, let me know what you want to see. And I hope you enjoy.
For sure. And I have to ask you one quick question, just one. Okay. Yeah, I was talking to somebody about Kyle Shanahan, right? Do you feel like Kyle beating the teams that we played recently, Atlanta Falcons, Bengals, Jaguars, and whatnot, right? Do you feel like him beating these teams, right? Do you feel like we're supposed to give him a lot of credit for beating these teams, or do you feel like he's doing his job? Don't give him any extra credit, or don't try to give him too much credit. Do you feel like he's just doing his job and leave it at that? Or do you feel like you should praise him a little bit right now? Because in my opinion, I respect D'Amico Ryans and everything he's doing. I feel like I give him extra credit, but I don't know if I should give Kyle Shanahan this extra credit, because I argued it with somebody. And yeah, how do you feel about Kyle? Like, are you giving him extra credit right now? Do you feel like he's good?
Yeah. Okay. I think here's my thing, right? If I go super hard on someone, which I definitely did with Kyle Shanahan, then when they start to do good things, I have to give them credit, right? I can't shy away from that. I don't think that's fair to do. I'm definitely passionate. I'm a fan first. And so I will go hard at some of these guys, frustration. And that being said, I also am not afraid to give credit because I'm rooting for these guys to be successful, right? And so the way that I see it with Shanahan, am I over the, hey, he's got to be fired right now? I never thought he would be fired right now. I knew he would be here through next season. I personally didn't like all the responsibility and still don't like all the responsibility that's on his plate. That being said, he's doing really well right now. He's in his bag every single game for a majority of the game. And especially when I go back and watch it on film, he's doing really good. So I have to give Kyle credit. I love seeing what he's doing. The question for me was never his play calling or his play design, rather. Yeah. It was so many other things. His play calling at times is questionable, but his play design is upper echelon. It always has been. So, there's things that I love about Kyle. There's things that I think are to be desired about him. What I'm most impressed with is not showing up on the field, by the way, as far as calling plays or any of those things. It's more the leadership that I'm seeing from him. He seems like he's a little bit more human than what he's been in the past. You see him getting animated on the sideline, not just in a bad way, but he's getting excited for his players, slapping them on the pads, just really getting amped up with these guys. And I think those little things go a long way when you're in a leadership role. So that is, to me, what I'm most impressed with Kyle Shanahan as of late.
Okay. And thank you for that, Jesse, because I'm still not sold on him completely just yet.
Me neither.
I still want to see more from him because I'm not satisfied. But I will say, like, play calling wise, I never questioned it. Well,
Right.
design, everybody's going to be open. But we got going forward, I'm still critiquing him just as much as I'm critiquing all the players.
Sure.
And I think that, I think that he can do it. I'm just waiting for him to prove me wrong. Of my doubts, that is. And just thank you for your work, Jesse. Thank you for the content.
All right, bro. I appreciate you.
Job.
Thanks for tapping in as always. Thanks, Minor.
Always.
Later. Okay, let me get to these super chats real quick. So Chris tapping in. Chris, by the way, I know I say it every week, but he's the one that makes the thumbnails for the call-in show. So if you like the thumbnails, I know you have to like the thumbnails. He's the one that does it. He's actually backstage. I'm going to take his call here in a second, but he says the caller's lying. I'm sure we're going to talk about this. Cowboys won't run on us. Our D, the last 6 games, only allowing 64 yards per game and 3.3 yards per carry. Yeah, the rushing defense has gotten much better. We've got Rob Ortiz. Thank you so much, Rob. I appreciate it. Showing love. And I thought I had, there we go. George, who just called in. George, I'm sorry that I cut your call short. The stuff was stacking up, and that yay thing was, I was intrigued. I had to do it. Waruna, I want to say shout out to you. Don't worry. I think I'm good as far as the copyright thing goes. I don't have the AdSense turned on for this particular episode. So I don't think you can really hit me for a copyright claim. And copyright claims like that are slaps on the wrist. So I think we're good to go there. But I do appreciate you looking out for me for sure. Before we get to the next caller, which is Chris, who just threw out the super chat, I owe this to all of you. All right, so we're going to go Chris, Viet, and then Mr. Tommy Huxley. What's up, Chris?
What's up, Jesse? How's it going?
It's going good, man. I get the strangest things on my stream, bro. I have to tell you.
Hey, I bet. I mean, I was like, what is he doing? He got the caller off. I wanted that caller to see my super chat. I was like, Jesse, look at my super chat. Yeah, because he said, yeah. That's the reason why I called. I was like, oh no, you can't be lying to the public. Okay. Okay. And then he said the Cowboys would pass all on us and all this stuff. Let me just throw out this stat first.
Okay.
The Niners have not given up. The Niners actually in 14 games, we've only given up 2 300-yard passers. In the passing league in today, that's a huge thing. Only 2 300-yard passers, and it took one of them overtime to do it. And then, as far as our defense, he forgot we're gonna have Emmanuel Mosley back. And the last time we seen Emmanuel Mosley, he was locking up. So I don't think the Cowboys are just this team that's they're gonna dominate us. If I was willing to bet my money, I'd bet that the Cowboys is probably giving up 2 to 3 300-yard passers this year. And if not, the best thing about the Cowboys is that they make plays. And Jimmy G likes to throw interceptions. We know that. And then he said Jimmy G has been dinking and dunking over these last couple of games. I'm not a Jimmy G fan, but he's actually been extending the ball downfield. He's throwing the ball past 10 yards. He's doing everything that he needs to do. And like you said, you gave him credit. I'm giving him credit. He's played solid football. Mm-hmm. Not great. He's playing good football. But and our run defense was giving him like 100-something yards a game. And then the last 6 games, we moved Armstead inside. We got DJ Jones. And guess what? 64 yards per game, 3.3 to 3.3 yards per carry. We literally obliterated the Vikings run, run, and they got Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. We shut down the Bengals run game. I mean, when they got Mixon, like, our run defense is actually elite right now. They're playing elite football, and the Cowboys offense has not looked good. And you think their run defense going against, their run offense going against our run defense? I'm taking our run defense right now because, again, our run defense is playing elite. I think that's all I have to say, Jesse.
I think, well, I'll say this, Chris, real quick. Do you think a lot of that hinges on Aziz playing, though?
No, because he didn't play last game, and we allowed 2.7 yards per carry, and Fred Warner was all over the field. It's the front four. It's the front four that stepped up. And as far as the last game, Fred Warner led us. He was all over the field last game.
He really was, yeah.
A lot of
his
people
best game of the season. His best game of the season.
Yeah, a lot. It could have been a close, but a lot of people say, "Oh, Fred Warner is having a down year." No, Fred Warner's not having an all-pro year. He's playing solid. He's playing good football. He's just not having an all-pro year, and he's not making plays. He's not, because we've seen him get the picks, we've seen him force fumbles. He's not doing that. So they think he's having a down year. He's not. He's just not making playmaker plays, all-pro plays. But he's actually playing he's playing good football. And Aziz is playing Pro Bowl football. Aziz has definitely been balling. I won't say he's not a reason why, the run defense has stepped up. Let me not say that. Yes, he plays a part in that. But as you seen last game, it's really our front four. DJ Jones play and Ark Armstead play and Arden Key play. Them boys is eating. And teams cannot run on us. And guess what that means? That's why our we've had 18 sacks in the last 6 games, 12 turnovers in the last 6 games. Make these teams pass the ball, and that's when Bosa, Arden Key, DJ Jones, Ark Armstead, Ebucom, their numbers are going up because we're making teams one-dimensional. This is football. This is what we do. Make teams one-dimensional, make them beat us. And I will take that all day. I will make a team beat us when we have Jimmy Ward, Tart, who played an amazing game last week. So Jimmy Ward, Tart, Mosley, Norman, and K1. I will take that all day, especially with our pass rush against the Cowboys.
Yeah.
The only team
I think we can beat any of those teams. Who?
100%. The only team that scares me is the Bucks, and that's because they can literally shut down our run game. And Brady is going to find that weak link in our defense, and he's going to exploit that. 20-plus years of playoff football, he's going to exploit our weakness. Other than that, yes, I do agree with that. The other caller, though, yes, I definitely we could beat the Cardinals, we could beat the Rams. That don't matter. And then also, to what Pinor said, Kyle Shanahan and his team started 3-5. Mm-hmm. And we all got on Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
He took accountability. He stepped up as a leader, like you said. Things have turned around, and that's why we're praising him. He looked in the mirror, had his team look in the mirror, and we 5-1. It's not just about beating it is about beating the teams in front of you. No matter if they're weak, no matter if they're good, just beat the teams in front of you. We beat a playoff team. We possibly beat 2 playoff teams because I think the Bengals will make the playoffs. So I think Kyle Shanahan deserves praise. Not saying he's the greatest coach in the world, not saying he's an elite coach. I'm just saying he gets credit for the turnaround.
For sure he does. Yes, absolutely. Right, and I think, real quick, Chris, I think it's fair to say this. To me, you tell me what you think. I think it's a weakness when people aren't willing to change their mind on things based off of new information, right? Based off the information we had early in the season, Kyle was overwhelmed with all the things that were on his plate. Now, maybe 100%. Some things were taken off his plate behind the scenes that we don't realize, but based off the information we have now, it's okay to change your thought process, right? I think it's a weakness to not do that. You agree?
100%. Look, dude, I was one of the biggest proponents. I wasn't about firing Kyle Shanahan, but I was one of his biggest critics because we wouldn't have needed to draft a quarterback this year if he would have did his due diligence in 2017. We would have been a much better team if he wouldn't have signed certain players that he, just best friends with, or making himself having the final say on the 53, losing possibly when we're 3-5, we're on track to have 4 losing seasons in 5 years. Yeah, I'm gonna get on your line. I'm gonna get on you.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yep.
But all right, man. Thank you so
All
much.
right, man. Have a good Christmas, man. I'm sure we'll talk on Twitter Spaces, but you have a good Christmas too, all right?
Oh, yeah, you have a good Christmas. Happy holidays to all your viewers and stuff.
All right, man. Have a good one.
All right, bro.
Later. All right, let me get to this this super chat. People, Jan saying she wants to see me dance instead of doing a superimposed one. She wants me to whip and do the Jane. That's pretty good. I'm not dancing. Jackhammer now. I might play the meme of him dancing. That was pretty funny. I might incorporate that one, but I'm not dancing. You really don't want to see that. I promise. Hugh says, I've noticed a lot of coaches going down to COVID in the last few weeks. If Shanny unfortunately ever gets it, who takes over play calling? It's got to be Mike McDaniel, right? Like, he's the offensive coordinator. I got to imagine that he does it. So, yeah, I would say Mike McDaniel takes over play calling, and we'll see if he's any good at it. Hopefully it doesn't come to that, because that's one thing that Shanahan does really, really well is play calling. So I don't want to see that. That being said, I do owe you a thank you. So let me find it. Let me find it. All right. Viet, what's going on, my guy? How you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Sorry, I gave you no warning there. Just none. And I know that you chill backstage, so my bad.
Oh no, I'm just doing some work stuff, that's all.
I feel it.
Yeah,
What's
man,
on your mind?
Man, Niners got me feeling in that weird spot again, like they're like teasing me, they're making me think we got a chance at a Super Bowl. Remember I told you, like, if we would have won that Seattle game, I would have said, all right, we're going to the Super Bowl, screw everybody else. We got this. I mean, it's like physically it's still there. Like I think we're good enough to beat everybody in the league. The problem is we're very susceptible to losing to everybody as well.
Yeah,
like we could beat the best team, and we could also lose to the Lions. It's like that for us. So I mean, I want to temper my expectations, but in the back of my mind, I feel like we can make a run or something.
I think the 49ers can beat any of these teams. I really do. And especially, Tampa's the one team that scares me. They still do. But with some of the injuries that they sustained, they're a little bit more beatable, right? Like, Godwin's out for the season. I expect Evans and Fournette and those other guys to be back. But I feel like the 49ers can beat any of these teams. I really genuinely believe that. So I don't think it's wrong to get excited. I think all of these teams are beatable. I don't think that there is a really, really good solidified team in the whole NFL right now. So I think that all of these teams are susceptible to being beaten by a team like the 49ers, who have a lot of really, really good players.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm not really scared of anybody either, because we're not expected to win against them. Like, we're not going to get picked by Vegas against them. So to me, we're just playing with house money, and we have a contending caliber roster to combat all that. I would say my thing is, if this is going to be Jimmy's last, season. What I think I'd want to see is just him just cutting it loose. Like, stop just throwing it over the middle. Just go for it. Throw outside the numbers. Throw it deep. If you get picked off, we already know that. We already know you're going to get picked off. So, like this, I mean, what do we got to lose at this point? I mean, I don't know if they're going to do anything to improve his trading stock, just throwing it over the middle and running the ball. So I think for me, what I just want to see from Shanahan is just letting him go, play him like the quarterback that you wanted him to be, and just let the dice roll. Like, who cares? Well, it'll be super exciting for me just to watch that.
Yeah, one of the things I want to say about Jimmy is he's really limiting his what the F throws every game 2019, I genuinely held my breath when he would drop back. I would think a bad play is coming, maybe a pick's coming. I don't really get that feeling this year, and maybe it's because I'm almost not as invested or haven't been because I thought the season was lost, and I was really excited for Trey Lance. I don't know if it's that or he just genuinely is playing a little bit better and protecting the ball better. So, it's kind of a catch 22 because you love that he's protecting the ball, but you want to see him take some more chances. I don't know about outside the numbers. I genuinely think there's a mental block there. Power throws are not something that he really has in his arsenal. He can make deep throws, though. When people talk about arm strength, there's two different things. There's a power throw, which is one hash to outside the numbers, opposite side of the field, or there is deep throws. Those are two very different things. They both have to do with arm strength, but in a different way. He can make those deep throws. He can get the ball out there. Is he consistent in hitting them? No. But can he get the ball there? Absolutely. He just he struggles with the power throws. That's where his lack of arm strength shows up. So power throws, stay away from those. But yeah, they have to figure out a way to at least take a chance every once in a while and give the perception that you're willing to throw it deep. I'm not against that at all, yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, I just think our expectations of him have changed. Because 2019, we sort of still had that, hey, Jimmy can still be a great quarterback. He just has to do this, and that. And now we just kind of think he's trash, and anything that he can produce is great. So, it's part of the experience. But I forgot what I was going to say. But
do you have the 49ers winning on tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, I got us winning out.
Wow, really?
Yeah, and probably lose in the playoffs the way we lost to Seattle. Maybe not in the first round, but eventually, I just know they're going to give me, I think we can make it to the Super Bowl. And then there's that one play.
They're going to let you down, yeah.
Yeah, so that's my thought on it. And I've come to terms with it. So anything beyond that I think is the plus. And I remember now. Jimmy, don't you think he's been playing better in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, Jimmy actually, in fact, he's had multiple games where I feel like he hasn't really done anything until the fourth quarter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a really weird thing for sure.
I don't want to say he's clutch, but remember, and I don't want to compare this to that Giants team, but Eli was really good in the fourth quarter when they made that run, and it, kind of the same vibe. So maybe we can rub up on that mojo.
Yeah, absolutely. And Eli, it's debatable whether he's a Hall of Famer. I'll hear you either way. I personally don't think he is, but Eli was a little bit more of a natural thrower. There were some games where he put up 4, I think even 500 yards throwing. You really don't see that from Jimmy. He had a little bit stronger arm, but as far as showing up when it mattered most, that was just built into who he was, right? And he could have a 3 interception game, but when that game was on the line, you're going, oh, he's got a chance here. Like, you really believe that with him. And Jimmy does have a little bit of that. Yeah. Jimmy also has a little bit of he needs a second chance. And what I mean by that is I specifically look at that Green Bay game. Let's not forget that he had a chance to win it. He threw the pass completely behind the line of scrimmage, turned it over, and then had to get a second chance to go put it away, right? This last time against the Bengals, yes, people are like, oh, he had 2 game-winning drives. First of all, you can only have 1 game-winning drive. That's not the way it works. You can't have 2. But he had the 1 in regulation, but he really should have thrown a pick, and then he got the second chance and he came through. So it's like he is clutch to a certain extent, but he also relies a lot on these second chances to make things happen.
Yeah, I agree on that.
So, all right, brother, you have a good one, man. Have a happy holiday, all right?
You too.
All right, later. Tommy, I'm going to get to you here in a second. I do want to answer this, though. Lotha True says, Jesse, do you think it's because he doesn't use his lower body when he throws? He's talking about Jimmy G. Yeah, he's always had, in my opinion, really sloppy footwork. He doesn't step into his throws. And I remember specifically watching him in 2017. And that was the one thing I remember telling my friend Adam, We were talking about Jimmy G. We were both really excited about Jimmy G. Obviously, came in, won 5 straight games, what have you. But I kept telling him, I said, look at this. He has some issues with his lower body. And we talked about that multiple times and how he needs to improve on that, right? So that is something that's always been an issue. I thought he would take that off season, he would go see his quarterback coach, and he would get better at that. And he never has. And so the fact that it hasn't improved and he's about to be 30 or he is 30 now, it's just not ever going to be a thing. So yes, he has issues where he doesn't use his lower body when he goes to step into things. Let's see. Zymrus says 404 air. I don't know. Here, let me put it back in here for you. I have somebody that just hopped in literally right now as you said that. So, it's working for sure. So I'm going to go to Tommy, John, and then Jamal. Gosh, it's about to turn into a Twitter. There we go. And we got Nick in here too. It's about to turn into a Twitter chat here in a second. But let's go to Chef Tommy Huxley. What's up, Tommy? How you doing, my man?
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Hey, I'm great, man. How you been?
Not bad. So Nick,
Good.
the crybaby's in the chat, huh?
Wow, you hear that, Nick? He's on your neck. Tommy's on your neck.
No, I think he knows that I said that once when he was on someone's podcast. I don't remember, but he was right with the things he was crying about now. But now it's not so much. We're a better team now, so
Yeah. I feel it. Listen, it's hard not to get frustrated as a genuine fan of this team when they're not playing well, right?
exactly. Like the beginning of the season, the run defense was just horrific. I'm like, this is not what we pride ourselves on.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The whole, really everything was out of whack. And what's crazy is you look at the beginning of the season. I don't know about you, but I remember the beginning of the season, the special teams was like the only unit that was consistent and playing well. Mitch Wishnowsky won a special teams award. The special teams was looking really good. We were talking about the improvement there. And now the rest of the team's doing good and the special teams have gone to crap. So, here we go.
Yeah, that's just the special teams is going to bite us in the butt during the playoffs. I think Hightower, he's just not a good coordinator. I think we should fire him right now. What are we, like, dead last? I don't know if we're dead last, but it's got to be in the late 20s.
It's bad. It's really bad, Tommy. You're right. The special teams is a disaster, and it doesn't matter who's back there. It's been a disaster all year long. Yep.
And I talked to Rombo about this. I'm like, he was on, but he was saying that basically that one game we lost it for us was the 2 Seattle games, and that's it. And he said every other game was good. So I don't see any good special teams. The only one I saw that was good was the Bengals. And we kind of got lucky. I don't know if it was lucky or it was Wishnowsky has a crazy spin on his ball. But Hightower's a liar since that was the only good game out of how many games have we played now?
Well, and not only that, though, but even in the Bengals game, they missed the kick to win it. So the teams didn't show up when they needed it most, right? They did get lucky with those muffed punts, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. So I don't think he had any good games. I think they've all been meh, like in the middle.
Yeah.
Like not good, not bad. So I guess that's good.
Yeah. Listen, if they're just a net zero, if they're the Jimmy G of special teams, I'll take that, right? Be a net zero. Just don't cost us any games. Can you do that for us? We'll take a Jimmy G of special teams.
Right. Speaking of Jimmy G, how he throws the linebackers a few times, Kendricks, and then Bobby Wagner, and then somebody. I'm just they've got 2 elite safeties on the Titans, right? So that could be worrisome there.
They just have a really good defense, man. They have three defensive linemen that have more than 7 sacks. It's going to be interesting because this is going to be the antithesis of what we just saw versus the Falcons, right? Jimmy G's back there.
Exactly.
He was doing his holiday shopping on Amazon. He's wrapping Christmas presents. He had all the time in the world in the pocket, right? This week, it's not going to be that. So I'm curious to see how he plays under fire. is he really improving, or is this the same Jimmy Garoppolo? And once he faces a fire team that can put some pressure on him, he struggles. We're about to see.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be kind of like the Eagles game. You know how they was super sloppy in the beginning. They were bringing a lot of pressure because the Eagles have a pretty good defensive line, or they did before somebody got injured. I'm not sure.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, well, I mean, I think it was Graham or somebody that got injured against the 49ers. Actually, that changed the whole outlook of the game. Yeah, yep. And even the Bengals game, right? The 49ers were really struggling. They lost their best pass rusher about midway through the third quarter or early third quarter. And that's when the 49ers started to be able to move the ball a little bit and do some things. So it wasn't like the 49ers were dominating. Like good pass rushing teams really can put it on their head a little bit. So I'm curious to see what happens tomorrow. Yeah.
I'm wondering if they should do some misdirection. Well, they always do that anyway, or some trick plays, or if they do some, I hate to say this, I hate these type of passes. I think they're cowardly, if you will, the screen passes. That's the stupidest play in the NFL. But I mean, I think we might have to do that. Or it depends on how good the blocking is. I mean,
yeah. Well, there's a time and a place, right? Like it's definitely something that they need to incorporate. Look at what Green Bay did, right? Green Bay did a great job of mixing that in quick throws over the middle or outside the numbers. That's something that the 49ers can incorporate. Maybe not the outside the numbers portion, but some quick screen passes. Do whatever you can to avoid your quarterback getting hit. Yeah, they can do that for sure.
Yeah, because that's how we got in that Cardinals game. All those screen passes.
So frustrating. So frustrating. It's like death by 1,000 cuts.
I know. But I think that game, there's one thing about that game, and that's Cardinals game, which is maybe the worst home game of all time.
Yeah.
I think the thing that we were missing, and we haven't been missing since then, is one key component, and that's Jimmy Ward. I think he holds everyone accountable. Our tackling is way better when he's in the game. The coverage is way better. The run defense is better.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think Jimmy Ward covers up, and we saw it, right? The game that Jimmy Ward was out, it was a big difference. The 49ers defense was so much better with Jimmy Ward versus when he was not in there. He covers up for a lot of mistakes on the back end for this defense, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Well, let me ask you this before you get out of here. Do the 49ers beat the Titans tomorrow?
Yeah, I think it's going to be the lowest scoring game in history.
2-0 Niners.
3-2 Niners.
I love it. I got to imagine there's some game that is ended in that score at some point in the history of football, but maybe not.
Maybe. Now I'm intrigued to actually Google that right now.
All right, brother. Thanks for calling in, man. You have a happy holiday, all right?
All right. Hey, happy holidays to you. Great talking to you. And I'll talk to you later.
All right, brother. Later. Tommy's a good one, man. Gosh, I got hella people in here right now. This is dope. All right. So we got, we're going to go John Lynch. We're going to go Jamal. We're going to go Jackass Penguin. And then we're going to go Sersky. And then I got a whole nother row of like 3 people waiting. A couple content creators, by the way. 49ers first takes. And then my guy, Nick, 49ers Faithful. So, yeah. 49er Faithful 365. Nothing but Niners. My guy, Nick. All right, let me get to John Lynch, the John Lynch, the real John Lynch. Actually, John, are you older than the John Lynch from the 49ers, or are you younger?
I'm only 35, dude.
Oh, okay. So if this was Office Space, you would be the no talent ass clown that stole his name.
Well, yeah, technically, I guess my parents stole his name again.
I'm just joking, man. How you been, bud?
Not bad, yourself?
I'm doing good, man. You on the road right now?
Yeah, I'm about to lose service, so I just wanted to say a couple quick things, and then I'll jump off to speed you up a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Yeah, do your thing.
Everyone always says I don't give credit when it's due, because, me, I've come on your show and given Shanahan so much shit. It's ridiculous, but
yeah,
I'll give him credit. He's had a great second half, but I still have problems with his decision-making. I will until he proved me wrong. Jimmy Garoppolo, I always say I don't believe he's had a great second half like everyone says. He's still making the bad, inaccurate throws. He's making bad reads, missing wide open people. But the one thing I will say, I put it on my Twitter, that I think Sunday's game was the best game he's ever played, period. Ball placement, decision making, everything like that. And then the other question I have for you is, what do you think Tomlinson and Jair's contracts will be like if they do re-sign them?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. You know, with the salary cap changes in 2023, I really, God, that's a tough one. I look at Aziz Al-Shaair. I would say like maybe it'll be like a 3-year deal, 15 to 17 million, maybe is what I could see for him. Something short term that gets him, you know, more money right away and allows him to play into a bigger contract. And then for Tomlinson, I don't know, somewhere around that $8 million a year would probably $8 to $10 million a year, depending on how they slice it. Maybe a 4-year 40, something like that I could see.
Okay. And then the last thing, dude, is keep up the great work. We love watching your show. You're
Thanks,
one
man.
of the best content creators, man, and you're good with everyone. So keep up the great work, man.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it, man. Have a happy holiday, and we'll talk soon. All right, brother?
Hey, you as well. Be safe.
All right, you too, man. Man, we got the content creators in here. I totally forgot. By the way, I'm assuming this is my guy Jamal from Twitter, content creator. Sersky, content creator. 49ers First Take, Aaron, content creator. Nick, all these guys are waiting in the background. And then I got my guy Niners Sickness. This is why our community is so fantastic. We all support each other. We show each other love. And I love this community. So thank you to all of you for tapping in. I do the same thing with all you guys. Definitely blessed to know all of you. Let me bring in my guy, Jamal, and see what's on his mind. What's up, Jamal?
Hey, Jesse. I'm actually not a content creator, but I think I have the same name as someone who does.
Oh, okay. All right. That's fair.
I'm kidding. It's me, bro.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. You sound just like Jamal Armstrong. Like, what you mean?
No, it's me, man. How are you, bro?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing really good. How you been?
I'm doing real good. It's an honor to be on with you. I'm a faithful listener. It's good that I've had a chance to come on here now. We just got done with our show as well. About what?
Oh, did you?
Yeah, about 40 minutes ago. 40 minutes ago. So, yeah, just sliding over. I have a couple things I want to run by you.
Yeah, do it, man. Go ahead.
For sure. So, when it comes to the special teams, like I know everyone's, we're all talking about them right now, and there are concerns and worries there. I'm 100% with that. One thing that I've talked about is a need for a return specialist, and not just a kick returner, but also like a punt returner, someone who can do both. I think one of the downfalls of Hightower, and really, I wouldn't even say it's just Hightower, because I think it also does come back to Shanahan as well, is we have been changing returners in and out on a weekly basis. And so you have guys like Trent Cannon, who gets a fumble. You get Hasty this week, who's had fumble ball security issues in the past as well. We've had Mo Sanu. He did it for a little while, but we know he's not really a true threat. That at that point, it was more just to, get the field position that you have and rather not lose any field position. It's just to kind of get the ball at whatever spot you're at. I understand that. And then we've had even guys like Brandon Ayuk. And I think Brandon Ayuk at this point probably brings the most juice when it comes to those guys. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess Trent Cannon, he's also quick too. But when it comes to, I guess, the ball security as well, I would say Brandon Ayuk probably has the most juice when it comes to that. But I personally don't even enjoy him back there, because what I've seen is he lets the ball bounce and we lose more. We lose more yards rather than running up and just catching it, even just wherever the ball is going to be, stopped at. And so I've had some concerns with that. So that's just a long way of saying I do think it would be nice for us to get a return specialist. I know that you had posted about Cordarrelle Patterson. Mm-hmm. I watched your clip on that from 6, 7, 8 months ago, something like that.
Yeah, 9 months ago. This was a long time ago.
Right. And I'm with you. I think that he would be a good one. I'm looking towards the future, by the way. So I know Cordarrelle Patterson's on a 1-year deal. So if the Falcons don't, retain his services, or if he wants to leave, I think he should be someone we should look at not only as a kick or punt returner, but also, as a true weapon. I would love to see him with Debo. And I do think that this offseason, we could see Debo and him talking to each other, linking up. I think that's a real legitimate possibility that we sign him. I would be all on board for that. But I've also thought of guys like Jakeem Grant. He's on a 1-year deal as well, if he's not resigned. Even a Byron Pringle. I suspect that probably the Chiefs may or may not even bring him back. He's not a major contributor for them as a receiver, so I could see them possibly letting him go. DeAndre Carter from the Washington football team, he probably will get signed, is my guess. But if he hits the free agent market, I definitely think he would be someone that'd be very interested. And then an underrated one that's come to mind for me is Mike Hughes. I think that he would be interesting just because he is on a 1-year deal. He's 24 years old. Will the Chiefs re-sign him? I'm going to go out and say probably. But if they don't, I think that it's twofold. He's a young corner you can bring in who has the versatility of playing inside and outside. Mm-hmm. So I think that would be nice. Also, he does have experience returning kicks and returns too, which is what the Niners' philosophy has seemed to be. They don't want just a return specialist. They want someone who can come in and contribute, whether it be on the back half of the roster as a special teamer. That's fine. But at minimum, they want someone who's contributing really on offense or defense as well. So I think Mike Hughes would be probably more of an underrated one. It seems to me that the Niners do like more of their bigger corners, 6 foot and above. So I'm not saying they will, but I think that's an underrated sneaky signing that could potentially happen this offseason. Him or Byron Pringle are two I probably would look at. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it definitely needs to be addressed, right? It's been too long that they've gone. Cannon was brought in. He was brought in late. He was supposed to be a special teams guy. He's had his struggles, right?
Right.
Now, it does sound like he's going to come back, which I'm happy about that. I'm glad he's doing well just as a human. But what about, at least for now, like I'm thinking about the rest of this season, and I love all those names for next season, and I'm excited to see who they bring in. I think that they're going to address it in the offseason. They have to. Mm-hmm. But for now, kickoff return. Punt return is what it is. Ayuk's probably the best option there, although he makes me very nervous, like you said, of letting the ball bounce. But what about Debo returning kicks when they get to the playoffs, just to throw teams off? What do you think about that as an option?
I don't necessarily mind it, but do you think Shanahan would do that? I don't know if I see that because they haven't been doing it through the regular season. I don't know if they would just switch up when it comes to the playoffs to them doing that. I think Debo would absolutely provide juice back there, no question. And we know how he is in terms of having no fear. He'll run through a guy. He'll take certain angles to be able to outrun a guy. He would be great in that role. I would wonder why they haven't used him more in that role, considering
they did use him in one game. They did use him in one game, and a caller earlier pointed it out. It was like an emergency. I think maybe it was that first Seattle game when Cannon had his issues. They put Debo back there finally, but that was,
you're right.
To me, that gave me a little bit of credit or a little bit of thought in saying, okay, well, maybe this is something come playoff time. Like, I get it. Maybe you don't want him to get hurt in the regular season, what have you, but you got to figure out a way to get the ball in his hands. I'm not saying they will, and you're probably right. They probably won't. But that's a good way to give this special teams a lift, a much needed lift as they go into the playoffs.
I mean, I'm with you. I actually would love that. I have no issue with that whatsoever. I don't think that he would turn the ball over. I think that he's real protective of the ball. He's got good, strong hands. I know he does have sometimes he'll drop passes and things like that. But I think this is a little bit different. I think that would work out. The only reason I say no is because I don't think that this organization has proven to be aggressive like that. They're a little more safe on what they like to do. They haven't shown me anyway that they value special teams as much as I'd like them to value it. I think that they're comfortable with just getting whatever field position that they can get. And rather they play more for the field position rather than to potentially score a touchdown. They're not aggressive with it. I don't necessarily love that. And I think that it's all of the little small things in the game of football, whether it's throughout the week, but also on game day, that can give you small minor advantages to help you win a game, that I think that sometimes they look over some of those things. So that's kind of my concern with it. I do have one other quick question, but if you need to go, I can go.
No, go ahead, shoot,
Okay.
and then we'll plug what you got going on as far as content. Just so you guys know, Jamal does a show. He just started it. He's on Croc's channel, Eric Crocker's channel. So tap in over there. He's actually going to be on with his co-host, Jasper. They're going to be on here. It's like third week of January. I've got it on my calendar, but the Tuesday spotlight that we do, one of the spotlights is going to be his show. So make sure you tap into that as well. But yeah, go ahead and shoot what you got.
Yeah, man. Appreciate the shout out there, by the way, too. So
Yeah.
I wanted to talk just real quickly about Kwaski Tart. We talked about him yesterday in Spaces as well. And you and I were kind of shooting off the hip about it as well. I'm looking towards next year. And is it possible we sign him? I'm still trying to come to terms with what I think the Niners would do and what would I do, because as we spoke about yesterday, there's no question the defense is better with him on the field. No question whatsoever. His relationship with Ward and his relationship with even the rest of the guys on the team, he provides. I also think he's a supreme athlete too. I think he's one of the more freakier safety athletes I think in the league. We don't really talk about that enough because he's not healthy all the time, which is the kicker. This is really what I'm going to get to. But when he's on the field, absolutely, he provides versatility. He has the ability to play in the box. And if something were to happen to Ward, he could also play free safety. I love that. I value the versatility that he brings. I also think he is a sound tackler. I know that there are, plays out there where he doesn't always, wrap up and things like that. But on a wide scale career type scale, I do think that he's a really sound tackler. And then, for me, it is the camaraderie with Ward. And then going into next season, let's say we sign him for a 2-year deal this offseason. That would be his age 30 and 31 season. I'm cool with that if he's healthy, right? That would be the kicker. If he's healthy,
sure. Yes,
I don't think that that's necessarily too old for him to be like, oh, he's going to be on the back end of, he's going to fall off after this year.
Not as a safety, no.
No. So that part doesn't concern me. For me personally, the only concern I have is the injuries. And so as I had spoken about yesterday, since he came into the league, his first 2 years, he only missed 2 games. That was 2015 and 2016. Only missed 2 games at that time. But it's been since 2017 when he played 9 games. 2018, he played 8. 2019, he played 12. And then 2020, because of the turf toe, he played 7.
Yep.
And so coming into this year, he had missed 28 of a possible 64 games. That's 43%. That's not a little bit. And that is an injury-prone player. But that being said, I'm wondering if there's not a way that we can get him back on a cheaper deal because of the injury history. That's absolutely going to be talked about when it comes to negotiations. I know that that's going to happen. They're going to talk about that. And if he cares and values, as we all like to say, getting a bag, he may not stay here. But I don't think he'll be able to get the biggest bag possible because, as you mentioned as well, there are a multitude of safeties that are going to be out there. So I personally feel there is a chance we get him back next year, probably on a 2-year deal, probably with, what do you call them? Probably with performance based,
like bonuses built in.
Bonuses in there, right? I think that that's definitely part of it as well too. What are your overall thoughts on that? Because I do like the potential of bringing him back, because I do think the drop off from him to Hufanga would be, we would see it. It would be major. I think we wouldn't realize how much we missed him until he's gone. But at the same time, and I don't think anyone could ever argue, there is that aspect of him being injured. I can't guarantee that.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, I just threw it up as a banner because, in between calls or whatever, if I don't have anybody, I have topics that I want to talk about. One of them was the Tart, Mostert, and Verrett.
Mm-hmm.
All 3 of those guys, I think the 49ers are going to have an option to bring back if they really want to.
Mm-hmm.
And Tart is the hardest one for me to say no to because he is a need. And I just don't see that clear path of replacing him like I do with a Mostert or a Verrett.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to say this, but I just feel like it's time altogether to move on from injury-prone players, even if it's for a little amount of money. And the reason that I say that is because it's not just the money, it's the roster spot, right?
Mm-hmm.
I look at it and I say, okay, so I can have Tart for cheap. He's going to give me 10 games a season, let's say, for the next 2 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which, okay, when he's in, that's great. But let's say, I mean, I don't know if he's going to make the playoffs. I don't know what the situation is going to be. Or I can roster a young kid who's less expensive, has high upside, may end up being nothing, may end up being something, but at
Right.
least I know he's in my building from day one and I'm giving him time to develop versus if Tart goes down, or I should say when Tart goes down, I've got to bring in somebody. I've got to add him to the practice squad. This guy has not been with the team. And then if Tart's backup goes down, now we're really in a pickle. So I personally, I'm going to say no to all three of these guys for that reason. I
Yeah.
love all three of them. I hope they all do well wherever they go. I am starting to look at it more than just a money standpoint. I'm looking at it from a roster spot standpoint. And I
Mhm.
think taking up a roster spot, knowing you're going to get injured, really can put you in a scramble drill if you don't have the right pieces in place and you're not able to have a player in your building from day one. So I'm going to say, again, Tart's the hardest one for me to say no to, but I'm going to say no to all three personally.
Fair enough. I totally understand that. I think for me, he's the hardest one too. I've been thinking about this for 3 straight days. It's almost been consuming. As a Niner fan, it's almost been consuming me because, I mean, we just watched the game. We just watched this past week,
really
and
good.
you've seen a lot of cover 2, which is putting more responsibility on your safety. So I'm probably thinking about it more because I'm thinking, wow, now we're seeing. I think the average fan is now seeing how much Tart and Ward mean to us, especially with certain corners being out and playing with a young up-and-coming corner in Ambry Thomas, who I am encouraged by. I'll leave it at that.
Me too.
But I think you can see, I watch that game and I look at the All-22 and I say, wow, when he's healthy, I really like what Tart provides to us. So I don't want to take too much more of your time. So thank you, Jesse. I appreciate you having me on. I just wanted to catch your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I'm glad that you came in and finished we got to finish our talk on that because we did. We were talking about it on Twitter Spaces, and then obviously there's a bunch of people in there, so you can't have an in-depth conversation. But I'll see you on Twitter. I will see you on this show here in a few weeks. Yes, and if I don't talk to you before Saturday, which I would be shocking if I don't, but if I don't, have a Merry Christmas, man. Happy holiday, and thanks for calling in.
Yeah, you as well. You as well. Thank you. You mind if I plug my show really quick?
Yeah, plug the show real quick. Do it.
Okay, yeah. So I'm over there on Eric Crocker's channel right now. You just go to YouTube. You just type in his name. Our talk show is called Niner Talk. That's the number 9 ER Talk with Jasper and Jamal. And we're on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Just had our show tonight. We were able to break down a little bit of the Falcons game, give our thoughts on that. We did also talk about Ambry Thomas and why I'm encouraged by what I saw from him. Just a small preview into that. I think Ambry Thomas the athlete is there. The kid deserves to be in this league. Will we see him improve technically? I think we will. And that's why I'm encouraged by it. So I'll leave it at that. We also talked about the Tennessee Titans game as well. And so we're on weekly Wednesdays, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Eric Crocker's channel. We're in the process of making our own channel. And once that's out, you can follow me on social medias and keep up with me with that through that as well.
Yeah, highly recommend it. Jamal is really analytical. I love being in the Twitter Spaces with him. Just really thinks things through. And when he says he's been thinking about the Tart thing for 3 days, I believe it. So, all right, Jamal, have a good one, brother. We'll talk later.
I appreciate you, bro.
Later. All right, let me get to Sersky, another content creator. Bring him in here. What's up, Sersky?
What up, Jesse? What's up, my guy?
Hey, how you been, man? How you been?
Man, pretty good, man. How about you?
Couldn't be better. We have a Victory Monday, and hopefully we have a Victory Friday, and then we got Christmas. It doesn't get much better than that.
Man, I know, right, man. What a week. What a week. But yeah, man. But yeah, man, I wanted to talk to you about what what I'm going to be so forward looking towards to next season is the the arrival of my man, your man, Trey Lance, man.
Yeah.
John Lynch said some great things about Trey Lance. You know, with him on the scout team, and he says that Trey Lance has been making really, really, really good progress with his accuracy. The reports out from Mayoko saying that he's dicing up the defense. Fred Warner and them guys, the starting defense. He out there dicing them up. His accuracy is good. And John Lynch said he's really, really impressed with him. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on those reports. And because I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm definitely excited. I mean, I can't wait till next season. As of right now, I really do want us to make a strong push in the playoffs, and you never know. Crazy things are happening. So you never know. We could get real close to like a Super Bowl, like division game or a championship game. You never know. But once this season is over, Jimmy will be gone, and Trey Lance will hold the reins, and that's something that I'm very, very excited to watch. So I wanted to get your emphasis on what you thought about those statements from John Lynch about Trey Lance.
Man, first Jamal, and now you. As you notice, I've got the ticker across the bottom. This was another topic I was going to talk about. You guys are on it. Obviously, content creators, you guys know what pushes views. But yeah, listen, the Trey Lance thing, it's cool to hear all that, right? And it's encouraging to hear all that. The timing is what's interesting to me. Okay. And the reason that I say that is because if you look at the last 2 weeks, behind the scenes, there have been people that are saying in the media that they're frustrated with the 49ers because they're not making all their players available, specifically Trey Lance, which is not something that contractually throughout the league you can do. So they've been frustrated with that. So you hear that, by the way, the 49ers do hear everything that is out there about them. They listen. And the reason you can tell is because they threw out that tweet yesterday with Jimmy G mic'd up, and they said something about I'm paraphrasing, but it was like they're not fans of Twitter fingers, basically, and all the talk on Twitter about Lance and Jimmy, and then they have Jimmy G mic'd up. So they clearly hear everything. So when you talk about you have the media coming out and being frustrated that they can't talk to Trey Lance, then you have the fans frustrated that they're not seeing Trey Lance. They don't know how Trey Lance is developing. You've got the fan base split. Now, all of a sudden, you've got Mayoko out there, Fred Warner out there talking about how good Trey Lance is. They know what they're doing. They're smart. That's a PR thing. I believe it, by the way. I do think Trey Lance probably has been doing this for a while, but the timing of talking about it is what's extremely interesting to me. And that to me is just a full PR play. And I think that I think it's a brilliant one at that.
Yeah, I think it is too. And especially the one about his finger, where, the reason why Trey Lance, Kyle Shanahan installed that offense for Trey Lance when he started in the Arizona game was because he still had a finger issue that that he suffered in the preseason game against the Raiders. So yeah, you're right. It's like they know what they know what they're doing. They're listening, and then all of a sudden, they're hearing things about what we're saying about the cons of Jimmy. Like Jimmy's not being a leader. Jimmy's not doing this. Rumors are out that players are not riding for Jimmy. This locker room is split. Some people want Jimmy to play. Some people want Trey to play. And then they all of a sudden, the 49ers Twitter, the 49ers organization decides to mic up Jimmy Garoppolo, and then you getting like a full glance of what of how that team vibes towards Jimmy out there on that field, man. And I got to be honest with you. I think the team is riding for Jimmy. I mean,
sure.
That for sure. Like them guys, they really support Jimmy, man. And That's the way it's supposed to be, regardless of who's the quarterback. So, but yeah, you're right,
But
man.
I don't think that's a surprise, Sersky. I think we talked about this a lot in Twitter Spaces throughout the offseason, that's what makes it hard. And that's the moment that you brought Jimmy back, you really made it almost impossible to go to Trey, because you think of it, or I think of it, like a championship fight. If you're into MMA or boxing, you have a champion, right? Which in this case is Jimmy G. He's the incumbent. He's the quarterback that went to the Super Bowl with this team. He's the champion. You've got the challenger and Trey Lance coming in. In order to beat the champ, you got to knock him out. So Trey Lance would have had to have played so much better than Jimmy to even earn that. And as a rookie, first time in the NFL, not playing in college last year, the likelihood of that happening was slim to none. Even if they were even, they were going to roll with Jimmy because he makes the money and he has the ear of the team. So, hindsight's 2020 on that. I obviously was riding hard for Trey to start, but I understand why they've gone with Jimmy, and it doesn't surprise me that team rides for him as hard as they do. Yeah.
Right. I agree with you. And that's the reality of it. Jimmy's been here. So, of course, Jimmy, Kyle and John, tried to remove Jimmy. They tried to replace Jimmy. They went out and looked for quarterbacks who can come in to be that a bridge, or maybe just take the reins for a few years, with the Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady and that, those quarterbacks, and then, Bridgewater, Donald, all those guys. So they tried to remove Jimmy, but, things didn't align the way they wanted to. So, they went on and took the conservative, safe route, keep Jimmy for one more year. You already have a talented roster. And see how it goes one more time. So I mean, I get it. I'm like you. I wanted Trey Lance to start. The guy didn't play much ball his last year at North Dakota State, and I wanted him to go in, man, and get the Mac Jones and Justin Fields treatment. Get him out there, let the anatomy of the game come into him, where the game gets slower for him. He has the talent, he has the IQ, but things didn't go the way it was supposed to go for Kyle and John on the removal of Jimmy Garoppolo. So they wanted to give it one more shot. Might as well nip it in the bud. It's happening. And they're gonna try to give it one last swing at it with him. And then after this season, they'll move on. They'll trade Jimmy, and then Trey Lance takes the reins. So so from that point forward, man, I really do have good expectations for next season. I think Kyle and John is going to implement the right talent on the defensive side of the ball for Trey, as well as the offensive side of the ball for Trey, so Trey can be in the best position as being the quarterback for the 49ers. So I think, like John List reported, earlier, that Trey Lance is progressing well. He's on schedule. He's doing the things that he needs to do. They're really impressed. So I can't wait for 2022, man. I think we're going to continue to be a competitive team. I think we're going to continue to be a playoff potential team, possibly a Super Bowl contending team. I think we're gonna. I think this time we're gonna stay on the consistency boat of winning, having successful winning seasons going forward, not having any setbacks. I think the 2020 season taught the front office a lesson. And I think other things, so many things to name, but it taught Kyle and John a lesson of many things about this organization. So I think once 2022 starts, I think we're going to consistently win. We're always going to be in the conversation. The media, everybody's going to talk good about the 49ers. Everybody's going to give us our credit. Hopefully, every offseason, media and all the other networks won't, put us in the back burner, saying we're all, they don't give us the credit that we deserve to get during the off season, because every off season they always saying, well, the 49ers may not do this and do that, and when we all know that the 49ers are capable of winning games and contending for championships under Kyle Shanahan. So I'm just excited, man, and I just wanted your thoughts about those statements from John Lynch, man. And I appreciate you for having me on, man.
Absolutely.
Let me go ahead and get my plug in right quick,
Yeah,
my
go
guy.
ahead.
You can catch me, man, on Real Talk Niner Talk. That's Real Talk and then Niner 9ER Talk. Catch us on YouTube, man, every Wednesday, man. 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Central Time, man. Hosted by Don Q, along with me, Sersky, Silverado Kev, Juju the Great, Red Jet Shell, and cousin Dave Doji, man. We on every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Central Time, man. We shoot that real talk, man. We tell you what's real. You may hate it, you may love it, but we tell you the truth because we love you. Shout out to you, Jason, man. Shout out to Last Second Sports, man. Y'all like, subscribe, man. Great content, man. Jesse, you're the greatest, bro. Thanks for having me on, man. And I appreciate you, man. And have a safe and happy holidays, you and your family, bro. And man, let's rock out tomorrow, man, and see if we can get this dub, man. Let's go.
Hell yeah. Let's go into Christmas happy. Thank you, Sersky. I appreciate you. Tap in over there with him. And very, very unique show what they got going on over there. It's a cool vibe. They got music playing. They're just chilling, having a good time, talking Niner football. I enjoy what they got going on over there. So Sersky, have a good one. Thanks for tapping in, and we'll talk soon. All right.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
All right, man. You too. All right. I want to get to a couple things. AJB, you were talking about the intro music for Grant's show. Yeah. So a lot of the guys actually, I create the intro, obviously, for this show, for Grant's show, Rob Shue, Bay Area Baller, Jackhammer, Amin. So you see any of their intros, you like them or hate them, I create them. So yeah, that's something that I do. So anybody that needs intros done, I do it for very inexpensive. It's like $25. And I also do the overlays. So like what you see right here, where you see the stuff in the background, Last Second Sports and all the overlays. That's me as well. So appreciate it. Glad you like it. Let me get to my guy, Aaron from 49ers First Takes. What's up, my guy?
Hey, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing good, man. How you been?
I've been all right. Kind of stepping away from the YouTube thing for a bit, but I just wanted to come in here first of all and say glad to see your channel thriving again. Absolutely.
Thank you.
That was an unfortunate situation, but people know where it's at. So I'm glad that everybody kind of got back on the train, and your channel is thriving once again.
Yeah, it is, man. It's really cool. The community's really rallied behind me. And knowing that I got content creators like yourself, Jamal, Sersky, Nick, Javi, Jason, everybody's been super supportive. Grant, obviously. Yeah, it's fantastic. I appreciate it.
And you are right about the Niner community, especially the YouTube community. I'd say 99.9% of everybody is pretty positive and supportive. I rarely get any negative feedback. Even if I have a show where I think I might have kind of been like blah, no one comes in and just says you're trash. So I'm good. My question to you, I have a couple. One, do you know I don't know if you're better at playoff, like how the seeding works. If the Niners were to only win one out of the last three, is there any possibility they make the playoffs, or do they got to win two out of the last three?
No, I think I'd have to look at it again. Here, let me pull it up while we're here. I think they just need one. If they win this week, they're in. I think it's a lock. NFL standings.
Because I've heard a couple of different people say they got to win at least 2 out of 3, and I'm just like, because this week's tough. And,
I think they're in. I think they're in. I think they just need one. So we've got the 49ers at 8-6. So if they lose 2, they'd be behind the Eagles. But yeah, technically, I mean, I guess, technically, if they win 2 more, they're for sure in. But if the Vikings lose 1, or the Eagles lose 1 more, or the Saints, if any one of them lose 1 more, the 49ers win 1, they're good. And chances are one of those teams or 2 of those teams those guys aren't going to go undefeated either. So, it's all but a lock that the Niners are in with 1 more win.
Nice.
But technically they do need 2 more or some help with some losses, but I think they'll be okay.
All right, cool. Thanks. So one thing that has been really stressing me, even though Jimmy's been playing really well, and I have to give credit to that, even though you know me, I am not the biggest fan of Jimmy, but I'm also a 49ers fan. And when the Niners are doing well, I support who's ever playing well. I'm not going to be like, oh, just get rid of him, put in trade no matter what. Like, no, I'm not ignorant. So my question is, the two things that are really gotten to me lately that are really disturbing, even though I've been trying to be really positive. One is special teams. I don't know what is going on with Mitch Wisnowski, but I saw an article that Grant did where he talks about how just like he can't get kicks into the end zone, he can't force touchbacks. His punts have been less than adequate lately. And then as far as Robbie Gould, his whole situation with it, just I feel like you got two guys that are almost like kind of just like whatever. They're kind of just glad to be here. Do you see any way that they could ever change that special teams room, or are we locked in with those guys for the next couple of years?
Yeah, you know what's crazy is Mitch Wishnowsky. If you remember early on in the season, he actually won Special Teams Player of the Week one week. So he started out really good, and then all of a sudden he's just kind of fallen off. So yeah, they can definitely. I mean, they can move on from him. He's not getting paid a ton. Something they can do. I think it's more on Hightower. I think regardless of who's been here, Ayuk, we know in college was a good punt returner. Has not been a good punt returner at all. He's a little bit strange to watch because he'll let the ball bounce. Jamal and I were talking about it, but yeah, it's an interesting thing. I just feel like they're undercoached in that unit, and so that's where I would start is with Hightower. And then as far as the rest of the season goes, the way that I would pump some juice into him is I would let Debo return kicks for the playoffs because it's something he did in college. And not only did he do it in college, he did it at a high level. And the more times you can get him to touch the ball, the better. So that's what I would do in the short term. And then in the long term, I would get rid of Hightower at the end of the season and then figure out what you want to do from there.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, with Debo, I get a John Taylor vibe from him if he was to ever return punts. I just get it because John Taylor was not the biggest guy, but he had a really long lower body, and he had that stride that he would run with. So that would be interesting. I just, with the way that the Niners have injury issues, you wonder if putting him back there is the smartest thing. But I mean, if
for punts, I don't want to for punts. Just kickoffs, just the kickoffs. Not the punts. I think I don't want to risk that. And you're right, punt return, that's something brutal. But kickoffs, I think he could be something dynamic, and that they're kind of missing that, right? It's either they're getting to the 25-yard line because of they're fair catching it, or it's kicked out of the end zone, or they're starting inside the 10 because they're screwing things up. I feel like with Debo, he's one of those guys that may break one and get you to the 50 from time to time, and I think it's worth that risk in that scenario. Debo, it does worry me. Obviously, you can get injured on special teams, but the physicality of the game doesn't seem to be Debo's issue. It's more the soft tissue stuff that has been a problem for Debo Samuel. So for me, just for the playoffs, if you can make it work, I'm plugging him in and allowing him to return kicks.
It'll definitely be see if they can add some juice to that, whether it's at the end of this season or going into next year, because you can win with two phases. They always say if you could at least win two phases, you could win a game. But I mean, you can also lose a game on special teams. Like the way the game started on Sunday, man, I was trying to stay positive and not get angry, and that I literally was pissed off within like the first 10 seconds of the game. So hopefully we don't have any more of those botches, and we can kind of, if we do lose to Tennessee, it would just be maybe that the fact that maybe they're, they were the better team that day instead of giving teams freebies like we were doing when we were losing. So
special teams can definitely lose you a game throughout the season. I mean, we've saw it on our end, and we saw what happened to the Bengals. I mean, that's why the Bengals the Bengals easily could have won that game, but those special teams blunders messed it up for them pretty bad.
Absolutely. My other question is, I've been very positive in this late stretch in the season, the way things are going. And one thing that I've noticed is the emergence of Jawan Jennings. And a lot of people are saying he could kind of maybe hopefully turn into like our next what do you call it? Kendrick Bourne.
Kendrick Bourne, yeah.
What do you see from him? Do you think he can improve going into the offseason to maybe improve his route running to get open more and not just be a possession guy? Because I feel like he's kind of a short, like a guy you throw the ball up to if you need like a 5-yard slant to get a first down possession, or if someone you're going to throw it up to in the end zone. Because we haven't had one of those kind of guys. We have a lot of smaller receivers. So could you see him progressing even farther into next season?
Yeah, definitely. It's funny because Kendrick Bourne was a pretty good route runner. That's how he'd get open. And he was definitely a red zone threat. I mean, he caught a lot of touchdowns for the 49ers. I look at the situation that they're at now. Debo playing as well as he is. Obviously, you've got Kittle. Ayuk is starting to take that next step. I feel like he's the real route technician on this team. I actually like what Jennings brings. I do think he can improve in his route running, and as time goes on, he will get better in that. But that being said, I actually like that he brings that bully ball mentality, the back shoulder. That's something this offense, by the way, has not had. We saw it one time a couple games ago where he caught that back shoulder pass, I believe in overtime against the Bengals. But outside of that back shoulder pass has not been a part of this offense. And I believe with Trey Lance's arm strength and a player like Jennings who can go up and track the ball the way he does, that's something that could be a staple of this offense, a la Green Bay Packers with Aaron Rodgers, something that they can mix in and really turn it into something special to take this offense to the next level. So I actually like that he's more of a big body guy, go up, possession, make some tough catches. Now, if he can improve in the route running, that's always a plus. But I like what he brings to the table versus what Kendrick Bourne brings to the table, specifically for the way this team is progressing. 2 years ago, we needed that Kendrick Bourne. We didn't have anybody like him on the team. But now that we have an Ayuk who is that technician, I feel like now we need that big body guy, and Jennings is that.
Yeah, Jennings, I was always a fan of the era where we had T.O. and JJ Stokes. I've always liked bigger receivers personally. I know a lot of times they're slower. Maybe they're not as well at separating, but I've always just been a fan of guys that you can kind of throw the ball up and they're going to box out a DB. So, yeah, I'm definitely excited. Jawan Jennings is kind of my sleeper favorite player right now. So hopefully he can improve going into next season. My last question to you, and then I'll get out of here, is how concerned are you with the defensive backs? I feel like as excited as I am for the front four, and when Aziz gets back, him and Fred Warner, my worries of with our cornerbacks are it's one of those things where I kind of feel like between that and special teams, if and when we get into the playoffs, one or if not both of those things might be the undoing of us as far as how far we're going to go this year. Do you have that same concern, or are you a little more confident?
Yeah, I'm a little bit more confident. I actually think that the defensive backs, they struggled obviously with the PIs early on, but they haven't been lately. That's encouraging. But I actually think it was the front four that was underperforming. That's why there was so many explosive plays happening against this defense. The front four, ever since they've started to step up, the secondary has been fine, right? Naturally, that's what's going to happen. Also, Emmanuel Mosley's been really good. He should be back week 18. That right there gives me the encouragement. I think that we need to feel positive about it. And Ambry Thomas has now gotten a few games under his belt. He's going to get a couple more here. And by the way, Ambry Thomas has been thrown to the wolves. I mean, talk about the guys he's had to guard immediately right off the bench, first game action. So the way that he's been exposed to that right away, I think is encouraging. And I actually feel pretty good about it. I don't think that Norman was as bad as people want to make. He's not great by any means, but he giveth and he taketh away. He leads the league in PIs, but he also leads the league in forced fumbles. So, it's a kind of a catch-22 with him. But I'm actually encouraged with the defensive secondary, especially with Ward and Tart back there. They really clean up a lot of messes. As long as those two can stay healthy, then I'm gonna feel good about it. K1 is obviously really good as well. So yeah, I think that the secondary is gonna be fine.
Awesome. I just want to say, I heard you say that you do intros and stuff. I might have to hit you up at some point and try to figure something
I
out
got you.
for
I
like
got you.
live streams at least, because
Yeah.
I hate the countdown that YouTube gives you. So I'm just like, I need something less generic. So yeah, I'll definitely have to interact with you at some point on Twitter or something. But thanks for having me come on here. And I don't know when things are going to get back to normal on my channel just because of the stuff I'm dealing with. But I do want to collaborate with you in the future because
For sure.
you're one of the best on YouTube, on Twitter, wherever I see you. So I definitely, you're right. It's the 49ers YouTube, 49ers content creators are super supportive. So thanks a lot. And hopefully we, like you said, we can have a Victory Friday in the same week we had a Victory Monday. And
That'd be dope.
that would be really good. Thanks,
Absolutely. Man. We'll go subscribe 49ers First Takes. He's not doing live content now, but he will be soon. Puts out a lot of good stuff. He'll at least keep you informed on his channel while he's going through some personal things. But definitely go tap in over there. Aaron's a great guy. I have been on his channel once. When you're back, you're ready to go, hit me up and we'll make it happen. All right, brother?
Definitely. And take care and have a good holiday.
You too, man. Later.
Thanks.
All right. This next gentleman's been waiting so patiently. I'm going to go to him, and then I'm going to finish the show with my guy, Nick, from Nothing But Niners. Biblical, you've been waiting. I appreciate you. What's going on, man?
Yes, this is Biblical Christological Account, FTW, with a YouTube channel, Biblical Christological Account, FTW. Here to give you a quick brute fact is that thou can't destroy our biblical Christological God. What's thy response to that brute fact?
Well, I mean, I will say this to everybody in the chat. Listen, this is one of those things that I don't normally get into. But anybody who watches me on the channel, I wear a Jesus hat. I am definitely a Christian. I agree with all that. I don't know if this is the space for it, brother. If you want to hit me on Twitter right there at JNA_LSS, you and I definitely can have this conversation offline.
Biblically, you're on your way to a dark place.
Oh, my guy, that's just not the way to do it, my man. It's not the way to do it. Listen, anybody who follows me knows that I believe, in my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Definitely not ashamed of that. But that's not the way to do it, my guy. I apologize. So, all right, let's end it with my guy, Nick. What's up, man? What's up?
What's going on, man?
I got some crazy stuff, man. My channel brings in some of the craziest stuff.
Right? I'm just sitting here like, wait, hold on. What is going on?
Well, I don't know. I don't think you were on earlier, but get this. So somebody was waiting in the background and it said, yay, right? Like Kanye. So I'm like, oh, that's kind of funny. Well, then it comes on screen, bro. It's like, it was obviously digitally imposed, but it's Kanye West, right? Like moving around, sitting around, like it's Kanye West right there. So I'm like, so now I'm intrigued, right? So I've got a caller on. I'm like, hey, I apologize, but I'm really intrigued by this. I got to see what they're going to bring here.
Right.
Obviously nobody else is going to see it, but I got to see this. And so I bring him on and it's just Kanye rapping or whatever. And I was like, that was pretty funny. Like that was actually very well done. But I'm like, what is it with my channel that brings this craziness out of people? I don't understand it anyways.
I don't know, man. But hey, you can take it as like people want to come to your show.
yeah, I guess. I don't know. The whole thing is strange. But anyways, man, how you been, brother? You getting better?
Yeah, man. I'm finally like on the upward climb, I guess you could say. This is the first year and I didn't get a flu shot, and the flu knocked my booty out this year.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But yeah, it put me down for the count. But No, man, it's crazy. I know you're gonna end the show with me, but I got a hard position here of following all these great 49ers content creators that you had on tonight. I mean, obviously Jamal and 49ers takes and Sersky and a bunch of them, man. So it's good to see the content creators showing the support. I love it, and it's always fun to hear what they have to say as well.
Yeah, all these guys are great, and you and I see it a lot, right? We're in the Twitter spaces. If people on here, by the way, if you don't have Twitter, Twitter can be a weird place, but if nothing else, just follow like us content creators. You don't have to engage with anybody, but whenever you see that we're in a Twitter space, just come in. It's fun. There's a lot of really good conversation that's had there. And we go back and forth, we disagree a lot, but we have really, I feel like that in itself, if we could somehow, I know that you can record Twitter spaces, but like if that could be a show every week, I think people would dig the hell out of it because those Twitter spaces, when you get Jamal in there, Sersky, Nate, you, me, some of these other guys that call in, Rich, John Lynch, all those guys, the Lance boys, it's a good time. Chris, there's a lot of really good Pinor. I don't want to leave anybody out, but either way,
dude, you could go on and
on and on and on, right? Like there's so much good content that comes out of those spaces. It's incredible. Like you are missing out on what's going on there. So I highly, highly recommend it.
Yeah, spaces that Twitter have came out with has been one of the best things that Twitter has done in years. And it's just like, even when I was sick, I was just like, I missed Twitter spaces, right? Because like I wasn't on any type of social media, not even my show. Obviously I couldn't talk or anything else like that, but I was just completely down. But getting back into the spaces and being able to talk again and things like that, man, it's just like, man, I really miss this, right? It's like, I don't know. There's a lot, like you said, there's a lot of great content, and it's kind of, it comes naturally, right, to these guys. So it's like a bunch of guys and friends just sitting there talking sports, and it's just, you never know what's going to come up next or the topic of conversation or how one topic turns into another, which is another really good conversation. So definitely check that out if you're not on there.
Yeah, Red Eye here says good content, just chit chat. Not exactly. Yeah, it wouldn't be high production, that's for sure, right? Like we would be at the mercy of what Twitter allows us to do. So it wouldn't be the highest production quality, but the content is really, really, really awesome. I love it.
Yeah, for sure. So you guys hit a lot of good points tonight, Jess. Like, the whole Kwaski thing. I was just talking to Mike about this the other night on our show. Kwaski is like, he's a really good athlete. But the only thing that scares me about him, obviously, is his health. Do I see him? I'm going to probably disagree with you a little bit because I do see him possibly coming back only to help groom Talanoa Hufanga, so he doesn't get dropped right into that position. I know he's been playing a lot right now, and Jamal went over the numbers of games he's played. And if you go back 2 years with me, I'm just get rid of the injury prone players. Like I was so over Tart, and I'm like, just get out of here, right? But he does make a huge difference when he's on the field right now. So I don't know if I'm going to disagree with you because it's a really hard choice with Tart when it comes to me, because like I said, you can definitely tell the difference when he's not on the field. The kid can make some plays, right? He's made some great plays in his career, but the problem is he just can't stay healthy for a full season. And at that safety position, it's not like you're getting beat up. He just comes up with the flukest of injuries, kind of like Jimmy Ward was in the beginning of his career, right? Broken legs or broken collarbones or broken forearms or whatever it may be. And it was just like I'm gonna just do a Christmas thing here, fragile, but you know, he's just they're just very like fragile. So, um, but yeah. So it's like I'm kind of torn with Tart. I'm agreeing with you with Moser and Verrett, obviously.
Mhm.
Um, I I said as soon as we drafted Elijah Mitchell as well as Trey Sermon, I'm like Moser's days are numbered. I got a lot of flack for that because they're like, no way, you can't replace, world class track speed. Like, sorry, Elijah Mitchell's already doing it. Like, um, so those two guys I'm cool with, not bringing back. And then you talked about what was the other thing you talked about? Oh, Juwan Jennings.
Mhm.
You heard Jimmy Garoppolo saying as mic'd up, he's like, "You're a fan favorite around here," you know, or you're a favorite or something like that on his mic'd up. Juwan Jennings is making a name for himself right now, and I think he is starting. I think he's going to be what Jalen Hurd was supposed to be, um, for Kyle Shanahan, and I think he's learning that role. Um, but I do think that he can be more than a possession receiver in this offense, which kind of scares me because I wanted to see more of Trent Sherfield, but the emergence of Juwan Jennings now is just like taking that over, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think his numbers are
100%.
probably I think his numbers are his numbers probably, or his days as a 49er are probably numbered as in Trent Sherfield, but Juwan Jennings is definitely making a name for himself.
Yeah, he definitely is, and I really do like what he brings to this offense because it is something very very different. There's he's definitely not what Kendrick Bourne was, right? Two very different players, but for the time that we needed Kendrick Bourne and what Kendrick Bourne brought to us, it was perfect. And now we need somebody like a Jennings, and what he brings to the table is perfect. So it's like this transition from Bourne to what at the time they thought would be Sherfield or Sanu. It's turned into Jennings has been perfect. It really has, and I love seeing the kid play well because I remember when he came out of Tennessee, I was really excited about him. One of my co-hosts on here, we before we even had the show, we really geek out on the draft and know the ins and outs of a lot of these players. And when he got drafted, we were both like, "Oh, that was a steal! That was a steal right there." And so,
Right.
I think that he's going to be pretty dang good. He reminded me a lot of Bolden, slow, big, strong hands. Obviously Bolden was a whole different level, but just that type of player, the way that he played.
Yeah, I mean, he played. You hit it right on the head, right? And in this offense, I think he brings that different tenacity, I guess you could say, as in, you saw him the other day with that 15-yard catch where he caught the slant, but then ended up breaking like a tackle or two and gaining 15 yards on it. Now he did drop 2 first down balls early in that game, like the first or second drive, and then later in the game. But I'm not going to hold that against him because he does also catch the football in a lot of different awkward positions, going up and getting the football and things like that. So I'm excited to see what he learns because he is obviously. I mean, I know he's been here for 2 years, but he's technically still a rookie, right? Because he was injured for an entire season to where he didn't play. And we know how it goes with Kyle Shanahan's playbook. Like, it takes a year or two to learn. You heard Deebo Samuel say like he didn't catch on until week 10 or whatever after Emmanuel Sanders came, and Emmanuel Sanders helped him, grasp the playbook. So, and we've seen what Deebo Samuel's turned into, and obviously Ayuk was struggling early in the year of some point or rhyme or reason, not sure why. We've heard the rumors and rumblings of why, but we don't know for a fact. But now he looks to be coming along. He looks like one of the probably the crispiest route runners on this team now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Compared to what he was in week 1 or week 2, right? If you're watching him on tape. And that was a big thing. Like I know I don't know if it was you or if it was Nate or somebody was saying that Wes Welker won't return next year. And I think Wes Welker has actually helped this receiving core more than he's hurt this receiving core, because you're seeing more and more out of Ayuk, Debo, Jawan Jennings coming along now, Trent Sherfield, um, those types of guys. So I'm not sure if Wes Welker is really going to be gone or not. But
I'm not sure either. I think Nate and I had both talked about it. We had heard just from behind the scenes that there was I don't know,
there was some animosity
there was
between
some
Wes.
animosity
Yeah.
there, yeah, with Wes.
Yeah.
So that was it, but it's football, right? Like things can change quickly. And if you're doing your job, it's a business, even if there's animosity, you can get over those things. So yeah, we'll see what happens with Wes. But I think that really all these receivers have done a good job. And you know what? You know what I'm starting to realize more and more, it seems like, is year three, regardless of the position, year three is when you really start to figure out who these players are, whether they're going
Yeah.
to be good or productive, they're going to be average. You really know in year three. You want to see progression, you want to see players developing, but really you can't make a call one way or another until that third year and you see what happens. Because look at Debo. Debo was good the whole time, right? Like we saw that progression. So we kind of had an idea of what he was going to be. We were encouraged by what he was going to be. But what he's brought to the table this year is a whole nother level. And you're seeing that really across the league. There are some guys that come in and take the league by storm. A Jamar Chase, a Jefferson. You look at quarterbacks, the Herberts, that type of stuff. But really, I think the rule of thumb is year three is when you know for sure what these players are going to be. So wait till year three before you make a full, total judgment on any of these guys. And then you can pass full judgment on what a player is going to be or not going to be.
Yeah, and I mean that's another reason why I think these rookie contracts, depending on where you're drafted, are 4 years to 5 years,
Yeah.
with a 5th-year option, right? Because like I think we talked about this the other night. I think it was last night where I said that I had Ian Williams on the show, and he's like, it takes 3 years for a player to actually come into his own in the NFL, especially defensive lineman. He was saying, and then we got on. I think me and you got on the conversation about Javon Kinlaw, to where we were talking about him as, that he's an athlete. You just haven't seen it because of his health and then the COVID year and all the other things that has gone on with him. So, I mean, at the beginning of this year, last offseason, there was a lot of talk about how there was rumors that Deebo Samuel, if he didn't lose weight, that he was going to, he was possibly on a trade block. Deebo took that, into consideration, and he's come back. And I don't even think Deebo's even hit his I don't even think he's hit his highest point yet, to be honest with you. I think he's still learning, and I think he has the possibility and the chance to be one of the best receivers or wingbacks, I guess you could say. I'll call him a wingback now, but wingback that's ever played in the NFL, right? As a positional player that can run the football as well as catch the football. So I don't think he's even hit to the point where he can be at. And it's just going to be crazy because I think he's going to end up getting franchise tagged first. And then I think then he'll get his contract after that, because they're going to want to sign him next year, obviously, right? But they're also going to want to see another year or so of that production, because I don't think they want to get burnt like they kind of did with Jimmy Garoppolo. And then you
Right.
also have to factor in that Deebo has had some injury years with soft tissue injuries, and that was a big thing for him. So I think they franchise tag him first, and then give him a big contract if he can uphold what he's doing this year right now. So it'll be interesting to see, because he's probably going to make in the 18 million a year once he gets signed.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to address what you had talked about. I think that's a good thought on Debo, by the way. I could see that happening I've heard some people talk about franchising Bosa. I think it's probably more logical that they would franchise Debo and then pay Bosa right
Bosa,
away.
right?
But
Yeah.
maybe they end up paying them both. Who knows? But I want to get back to the 3-year thing because you're right. I think it was in Twitter Spaces where you were talking about Ian Williams talking about defensive linemen, and then I watched the Ambry Thomas film right after that, and then I started thinking of quarterbacks, and I've said this before with Trey Lance. 2023 is when you're really going to know with these quarterbacks, and so hearing what you said about what Williams said with the defensive line, watching Ambry Thomas and going, okay, well, it's probably going to be until year 3 before we fully know, and then knowing what I've said about Trey Lance, it's like the epiphany just hit me. Like, it's clearly 3 years for most players. Like, you really don't know. But we've got a couple people in the chat saying, listen, we know what Kinlaw is. Kinlaw is a bust. Here's what I will say. In order for me to feel good about that 3-year plan, I have to see a couple of things from you. One, health. Like, that's very, very important. 2, clear development. And 3, I want to see flashes, right? So what we've seen from Kinlaw is we've seen the flashes. We've seen the athleticism. We've seen the strength. The flash is there. The health is not there. And the progression is not there because he really has not had either offseason to develop. So 2 of the 3 things that I look for and get encouraged by are not there for him. And so that is a bit worrisome, especially when you add in an injury. We don't know how serious it is or it isn't. And for me, I'm not going to go as far as saying he's a full-on bust, but I will agree with the chat a little bit and say, yeah, it doesn't look good at this point. And I can agree with that, even though we're only 2 years in with him.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with you that it doesn't look good, right? And I go back and I say this all the time. I mean, a lot of people who watch my show know how I feel about the whole DeForest Buckner thing and the Eric Armstead thing, and I've talked about it in spaces as well. I don't think getting rid of DeForest Buckner was the issue that the 49ers made. I think it was the pick that they made to replace him. Knowing that he had knee tendonitis, possibility of, flare-ups and things like that. I put that on the team because if you get a guy that comes in here and he's producing, the fan base isn't talking about, well, you should have never got rid of DeForest Buckner or Eric Armstead's overpaid or Eric Armstead's not doing his job or whatever. I think it's just the pick itself. I think Javon Kinlaw is a hell of an athlete. I think he is. But when you have somebody that big in that body, they're going to have knee like issues. It's just a given. I'm surprised DeForest Buckner, he's pretty big dude. Same with Eric Armstead. Those guys are just big, like you're going to get arthritis and tendonitis in your knees because you're just a big dude. Like that's just what happens. But um I like Javon. I've met Javon Kinlaw. I've talked to Javon Kinlaw. I like him as a person. And I wish nothing but the best for him and I hope that he can come out of this healthy.
His story as a person is really inspiring.
Oh, it is. It really is. And like I said, this is he's a great guy, right? But when I look at it as trying not to be a homer for my own team, he has to be able to provide and produce. And these guys don't ask to be picked where they're picked, and these teams go out and pick them, and they have a standard to live up to. When really, they're not. They have no control over where they go, what position they get drafted in, or what they play. I mean, you look at Solomon Thomas, right? You see him go with the Oakland Raiders now, or Las Vegas Raiders now, is playing better than he's ever played as a Niner, but he's being used in the position that he was played in college. Eric Armstead plays a lot better when he's inside compared to outside. So I hope that Javon Kinlaw can come back from this knee injury and prove us all wrong as a Niner fan base and have a healthy and, long career, I guess you could say. But I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, they said that he had ACL reconstructive surgery. I'm going to stand by what I said based off of what I saw, what I heard. I still think that you can have reconstructive surgery, but you can also have arthritis at the same time. And I genuinely do believe that he has arthritis in there, which is never gonna go away. When they're in there with the ACL, they can clean it up, but it'll eventually come back and be an issue. I think he's probably always going to be one of those guys that misses a ton of practices during the week,
Mm-hmm.
even if he plays every week because of that. And that's how you manage that arthritis. But swelling issues when he flies, that type of stuff, that's not just a ACL. There's something else going on in there. And so to me, I agree. I don't think it's going to work out. I hope I'm wrong, but I would be shocked if he makes it to that second contract with the 49ers.
Oh yeah, me too. Me too. Jesse, man, there was a conversation. I want to get your take on this.
Yeah.
There was a conversation the other night in Spaces, and I wanted to ask the question. I was in a space, but then Red Jet actually ended the space before I could ask it. And then Niner Nate comes out with the question and says, can the 49ers win the NFC West? What's your thoughts on that?
Nah, I mean, can they? Yes. Everything has
likely,
to go
right?
perfect.
It's likely.
Yeah,
I mean, it's high. I'm going to say, no, I'm sorry. It's highly unlikely.
Yes.
But there's a possibility, right?
Yeah, you look at Arizona's schedule; they've got some tough games. I mean, they
definitely have the hardest team. They got the Colts, Cowboys, and Ravens,
Seahawks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they can lose all three of those games for sure.
And the Rams,
they really could.
The Rams would have to lose 2.
One to us, but who are the other 2? I wonder who they have.
They have Cowboys, Baltimore.
Okay, yeah, so they could lose one of those games for sure. Yeah, it's possible. See, that's what's frustrating.
But we would have to win out, obviously.
For sure, yes, of course. A lot of things would have to go into that. That's what's so frustrating about that second Arizona game, brother. Is if they had won that second Arizona game, which they should have won, like there's no doubt about that. That's the one right now that is stopping them from legitimately winning this division. Because if they'd won that game, they would be right there, tied with the Rams. All they'd have to do is win that last game against the Rams. They have the tiebreaker there. They're ahead of them. They're good to go. And Arizona would only have to lose one more game, which definitely is going to happen. Like they're going to lose one. So that's the one game right there. Like that's the difference in winning this division and not winning this division. And if they had won that game, hell, if they had won both games between that and Seattle, they'd be the front runner right now. But if they had just won that Arizona game, they'd be in the driver's seat right now to win that division. They really would.
And that's what I was going to say. Even that last Seattle game, right? That hurt us too. Like, obviously a point. That was when I got sick. So I was like in and out with that game. And I still haven't even gone back and watched the complete game. But, like it's just crazy because to sit here where we're at right now, what are we in, week 14? 15. 15, going into week 15. Compared to where we were at week 6.
Going into week 16, 17, 18, they only have 3 games left. Yeah, this is week 16 tomorrow. Yeah.
Right, so week 16. So it's crazy to sit here and think that where this team is compared to where it was in week 6. I want to ask you this, though. What do you think the difference is?
Oh man, it's loaded. I feel like
I know it's a loaded question, but
there's a lot. There's a lot of differences. So obviously the defensive line has stepped up their gameplay. That's huge. But I think just having all the weapons there at one time and consistently being there has been the biggest difference. You've got Debo, Kittle, Ayuk has turned back into the Ayuk that we thought he was going to be. All 3 of those guys on the field at the same time is nearly impossible to guard. I think that right there is driving this offense and driving this team, driving the leadership. So for me, I'm going to go with those three being on the field at the same time. But I'll hear an argument where you say it's the defensive line, where you say it's Kyle Shanahan. Like there's a lot that is working at the same time. It's weird because at the beginning of the season, special teams was really good. Now it's terrible. Everything else is really good when it was terrible. So they just can't get it all together. But the things that are clicking right now are really working, and they're winning football games. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I'll agree with you on that too, right? I mean, obviously health is a big factor in consistency. I still think that, like you said, there's a ton of different things that go in here, right? I still think that Kyle Shanahan has a big part with it. And I think what I think about that is, and why I think that is because in the beginning of the year, Kyle Shanahan seemed like he was his stubborn self. He wouldn't change the way that he was calling game plans. He wouldn't change and make in-game changes. We weren't trying to run the football anywhere near what we're running the football right now. And we were all, even us all as content creators, like, this offense is a run-first team. Like, that's what it is. Why are we not running the football? And the excuse was, well, they can't run against 8-man stacked boxes. Well, guess what? They're running against 8-man stacked boxes still to this day, and they're being successful. But what the difference to me is Kyle Shanahan is sticking to what has got him there in the first place. He's running the football no matter how many average of yards he's producing. And you saw that it went from barely running the football to Elijah Mitchell getting maybe 12 carries, a week, and putting it all on Jimmy Garoppolo, which is a no-no in my eyes.
Right. Yes, of course it is.
And then you go to Kyle Shanahan saying, well, we need to run the ball 35 times. They get to 35. Then they say, well, we need to run the ball 38 times. They run the ball 38 times. Well, Coach, how much do you think you need to run the football this week? Well, it's not about how many times we run it, but I want more yards with the way that we run it. And then you saw that the team and the offense evolve, which then made the defense better because they weren't tired, because we were we were like 6 for 64 or something like that at one point on third down conversions, right? And the offense just wasn't keeping the football. So then you go to, so I would factor in Kyle Shanahan and the way that he was calling game plans. Because at one point, if you remember, I was like, is Mike McDaniel's calling plays? Like,
because it was so bad. Yeah.
It was so bad. Like, it looked so different. Like, it didn't look like a Kyle Shanahan offense.
Right.
But I do want to touch on something that you talked about earlier, and this is what I think the difference is I believe it was 49ers Takes asking about the DBs.
Mm-hmm.
And you had said exactly what I was thinking was, I think the DBs were bad in the beginning of the year due to the fact that I know myself in general would look at this defensive line and say, why do we keep 9 defensive linemen? This was supposed to be the bread and butter of this team, and they're just not producing. They were allowing quarterbacks to throw the football wherever they wanted to. They just weren't getting home or finishing. And we were getting a lot of PIs due to the fact that players were getting beat off. No corner in this league is going to cover more than 2.2 seconds. I don't care who you are.
Nope.
I don't care how good you are. You could be a goddamn Superman. For all I care, you're not going to cover somebody more than 2 seconds. One, you're already down because you're a defensive back. You don't know the route that's being ran. Oh yeah, definitely don't forget to hit that like button. My guy Paul. So then I think that's where our secondary was lacking in, right? And then obviously
For sure.
Josh Norman and then obviously Emmanuel Mosley was hurt in and out. Then he's been out, so hopefully can't wait to get him back. But now that the defensive line is producing, I mean, I don't know how many sacks we've had over in this last 5. What will we win? 5 of 6.
Yeah,
5 of
so
6.
I think over the last 8 games, they've had like 16 sacks or something like that. They're getting after the quarterback a ton and forcing turnovers too.
Yeah, which is good. So I think that's what the difference is. I think that's what a lot of the difference is for this team. Obviously, uh, keeping the defense fresh. I mean, when you come up with 2 goal line stances, like that's great, right?
They've been doing that all year though, right?
I
Because
know.
that's happened multiple times. I mean, they've had some big goal line stands. I think the Eagles, they had multiple. I think they had one against the Packers, if I'm not mistaken. This is something that the 49ers have mastered for whatever reason, man. You get them on the 1 yard line, it's hard to score against the 49ers. That's when like Fred Warner, Tart, Ward, like the superstars of this defense
They step up and
really
play.
come through and do something. Yeah.
I mean, even Eric Armstead this
Yeah, you're
past week,
right.
he made
You're
a
right.
great stop on that 3rd down. Um,
I've
which
been really tough on Eric Armstead, and I still don't think he's brings the value of what he's paid. That being said, that move to kick him inside, I know it was out of necessity because Kinlaw was out. That was the best move for him as a player and
Oh,
the best
absolutely.
move for this team. He's a really good run defender, and he's just not quick enough to win on the edge.
Right.
Putting him in the middle has been the best thing to happen to that defensive line. And that move right there, I know there's a lot of things that aren't showing up in the stat sheet. That's what's frustrating when you're paying a guy that much. But I will say, just play and play out, he's doing a really good job of drawing some double teams, freeing up other people. A better job than what I expected he would do against the run as well.
Oh yeah. He's always been a great run defender, right? And then you have guys like Arden Key stepping up, and he's really come on. This Ibukam has really come on the last 2 or 3 weeks. I was gonna say something and I can't remember what the hell it was. I forget.
DJ Jones has played really, really
I want to
well.
give a shout out to Tom Compton, bro.
Yeah, all right. Give Tom Compton some love. There's somebody in the chat that always loves Tom Compton. So go
I'm
ahead.
being serious. Like,
I know you are. I'm just saying. So
bro,
there's
this
always
offensive,
every chat has a Tom Compton fan in it.
yeah, it does, right? So like,
It really does.
I hate Tom Compton. Like, but going back and watching the tape, like he was pancaking the shit out of some Atlanta defensive linemen on this last week. Like he's been playing really well. I can't look. I'm gonna knock them when they're not playing good, but I can't knock them. I have to congratulate them when they're playing good. But this offensive line in general, Alex Mack has stepped up. He's been playing really good. Obviously Brunskill's been playing good at guard, and then Tom Compton. Because I was worried, like especially with the run game. Our run game has been more successful now than it was when Mike McGlinchey was in there, which he's better at than he is at pass protection. So,
right.
I was nervous about the whole Tom Compton thing and Brunskill. Like, damn, our right side is going to be booty. But
I think the biggest thing has been the Mac getting better, like his resurgence, because the moment that McGlinchey went out, that's when Mac started to ascend. And if that didn't happen, it would be really, really ugly. Brunskill, last week, he had a great play where they pulled him from right to left. I think it was on the Wilson touchdown, if I'm not mistaken. But either way, phenomenal job getting out there and just clearing a path for whoever it was. Yeah, they're showing some flashes. Now, against the pass rush, I still have my questions, but the running
portion of
lanes
it,
that
yeah.
they're creating has been incredible.
Yeah. The pass protection for this team has always been not so good. I mean, I don't care if you're Trent Williams compared to the other side. Like, they're just, for some reason, I think it's just the way that they line up and the way that defenses attack them. So we should see. But look, man, nobody would have thought this team would be in the position that it's in right now 6 weeks ago. 7
No.
weeks ago. The 49ers are definitely one of the hotter teams in the NFL right now. And you heard Bucky Brooks say nobody wants to play the 49ers when they're hot like this. Like, you just don't want to, because one, your playmakers are going to make plays when needed. You have a guy in Kyle Shanahan, and you have a good run game. I can't wait to see Elijah Mitchell back and be able to see Trey Sermon back, and then obviously mix in a little bit of the wing back in Debo and things like that for this team, because it's going to be completely insane.
While you're on this topic, I do want to talk about this real quick, because somebody brought it up earlier and I forgot to get to it. I was going through the chat. So they were talking about, we were talking about with the 3 players, Mostert, Verrett, and Jaquiski Tart. Do we bring them back? And they were talking about Mostert, like, why not if he's cheap? I get it. But for me, I would rather take that money and bring back Jeff Wilson. Let's not forget that he's also going to be a free agent. So if I'm choosing between Mostert and Wilson, I'm taking Wilson, who's younger, his explosion's back. And although he has some injury issues, he plays more than Mostert does. So I would rather spend that money personally on Jeff Wilson Jr., who, by the way, is all the way back. And he's a really good physical runner who's a great change of pace to an Elijah Mitchell. Like, those two as a 1-2 punch, I think would be fantastic.
Yeah. I just want to see my boy Sermon on the field, though.
No, I do too. I agree, like all of them, right? But I
like
if I'm choosing between those two, I'm definitely taking Jeff Wilson.
Any of them, I think it would be Jeff Wilson that does come back. Jeff Wilson obviously is just really getting over his injury. Like, you're starting to see that explosion come back. You're starting to see the vision come back. And there's not a lot of timid play with him as there was earlier in the season. Like, he was, as soon as he got hit, no matter where it was, he was going down. And that's not Jeff Wilson's play. So once he gets comfortable with his body after that injury, I think he'll be fine. But Mostert, as much as I like Mostert and I like that track speed and the explosions, like, I don't even think we've seen anywhere near the ceiling of Elijah Mitchell. Like, people downgrade Elijah Mitchell's speed, but he's not slow. He's still a 4.3 guy, I think, or 4.4.
Yeah, he ran a 4.3, but he lost a bunch of weight for the combine to do it. He's probably more naturally a low 4.4, but that's plenty fast.
I mean, that's still plenty fast for the NFL, right? So
Mostert's like all worldly speed. Like, that's a whole different thing. But as
and they're
people are pointing out in the
runners.
chat, is microfracture surgery. I can tell you microfracture surgery is not one to mess with. Like, he might have lost all of his explosion with that.
Yeah. And then Mostert and Wilson, or Mostert and Elijah Mitchell, are 2 different type of runners too, right? So
completely. Yep.
Mostert runs straight up and down. Like, he's a one-hit guy. I mean, he's perfect for the zone because it's one cut and gone.
Gone.
And that's why he's been so successful. Mostert will go to another team and he will not be successful.
It'd have to be the right team. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He would scare me if he ended up on, and he's not going to end up there. But like, if he ended up in,
he's going to go to the Jets,
the Rams or something like that, that would be terrifying. Yeah, Jets. I could see the Jets for sure. That'd be a really good fit. Let's see who else. Well, probably not Well, maybe Cleveland, right? They're going to lose Hunt probably in the offseason, so maybe he can go there.
Him in Green Bay too.
Yeah, Green Bay for sure. Yep.
Yeah, probably Jets, Green Bay. I'm trying to think of
Minnesota is another one that runs the offense.
Yeah.
Baltimore. Somebody said Baltimore. Yeah, but that the problem is that I think that's a terrible run scheme for him. I really do. Yeah, Seattle. That's another one. Yeah, Seattle. That's Dimitri just said it. Seattle's licking their chops. Yeah, you're right about that. That's true.
Seattle. I totally forgot about them because Shane Waldron's there.
Yep.
He's a Shanahan tree guy. It's crazy though. Yeah, I just thought it'd be fun just to catch up with you, man, and it's been a while.
Yeah, brother. Listen, I'm glad you're feeling better. We usually text pretty regularly and whatever, and you said you were sick, and then that was like during the Seattle game. You were kind of in and out of it, and
Yep.
then I didn't hear from you from like a week, and so I texted you again, and I was on vacation, so I texted you again when I got back. I'm like, "You alive?" You're like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
kinda." And then you were gone for like another 5 days. I'm like, "Damn, you are really sick. Like
I
this is no
was, man.
joke. You were in a bad spot."
That shit put me down for like 2.5 weeks, man.
Yeah,
It was
legit.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was just like, and it came out of nowhere. Like I was completely fine, and then obviously, I don't sleep a lot, so my immune system was probably low, so it probably really, really whooped my ass.
I bet you've been getting good sleep now, though, with that. Hopefully.
Yeah, I did. I slept a lot when I was there, but now I'm just struggling, like, because I'm back to work, so I'm struggling to get back on the schedule that I've been working for so long because I'm like extra tired now. But once the holidays and stuff are over, I'll be good, and just can't wait for all that and and then all that good stuff, man. And then it's like, dang, it's 2022 already.
I know, it's crazy. Hey, if the 49ers play Tampa Bay in the playoffs, you coming out Tampa?
100.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to hear. I love it.
Yeah, definitely. I almost, bro, I was on Hopper today looking for flights to Tennessee. I was just gonna fly in, go to the game, and then fly home.
You're so wild for that.
But they wanted like $700 for a ticket.
Ooh.
I'm like, nah,
No,
I'm good, because I could have got some free tickets to the game because one of my buddies wasn't going. So I was like, should I just fly out and just fly back? And I was like, let me see what airline tickets cost. $700. I'm like, yeah, no.
Yeah, no, it's because it's too close to Christmas, man.
Yeah, and that's why I spent so much on the Thanksgiving, the Vikings game, because it was Thanksgiving weekend. But
yeah,
I was supposed to go to Cincy game, but then I got sick for that. I was sick during that, so I couldn't fly into that. And then I was going to go to the LA game, but with everything, there's talks that game's going to be either moved to a Saturday or to Sunday night game. So I was like, maybe I should just hold off on that. And then, so I'm like, I guess I'll just wait till the playoffs then.
Playoffs. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
So
what you got to do.
My one buddy's a Cowboys fan who's from here, and he's like, yo, if the Niners play in Dallas, you going? I'm like, let's do it. And you're like, Niners go to Tampa, let's do it.
Let's do it. Yeah,
Wherever
listen, the Tampa is the one matchup I don't want to see, but selfishly, I'm like, that stadium is 20 minutes from me. I'm all about it. So, yes, I would love. I hope the playoffs are there because I feel like you would come out, Aponte, Grant would be there. Like, it would be a cool little gathering we could put together. I think Croc probably would show up. So, I think it'd be dope if we can get that game here in Tampa, because that's one that I would definitely be at. And I think we could all put together something and meet up and have some dinner and whatever.
Before we get out of here, this one question. You said it's the least game you would be looking forward to. Is the Buccaneers the team that scares you, or what team scares you in the NFC right now?
It's the Bucs. It's still the Bucs. Even with that injury to Godwin, you look at it. my dog just broke in.
He's like, hey, Dad.
Yeah, he's like, you've been down here for 3 hours. I got to pee. So yeah, listen, I look at it and I say the Bucs is the one team that I still fear, just because Tom Brady's on the other side. He's going to pick you apart. And then you look at the defense, they stop the run. That's like their expertise over there. So that's the one that I would prefer to avoid. With Godwin out, that game does become more winnable than it was a week ago, but it's still one that I want no part of.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think I agree with you. I think I'm not worried about Green Bay. I think we can beat them at a full strength. Like,
yeah,
our team. I don't want to say full strength because we were full strength when we played them last time, but we weren't really utilizing Ayuk. Elijah Mitchell wasn't in his own bag yet. I'm not worried about them. Tampa probably is the most well-rounded team in the NFC. And then obviously you have Brady, and then Godwin's hurt, but you still got
Evans, Brown is
Evans
back,
there.
Gronkowski.
Yeah,
They
you
got
still have
enough.
a ton of talent there, right? So
Yeah.
and then they just signed Le'Veon Bell too, right? Because the Leonard
Yeah,
Fournette's
because
injury.
Fournette's out. Well, they also had an injury to one of their linebackers. I forget which one it was. I don't remember if it was White or what have you. But
I love
that
Kevin White.
there is the biggest hit. If whichever linebacker it was is not able to come back for the playoffs, that is a big reason why they scare me, because Vita Vea is in the middle, so you can't really run up the middle. And then to the outside, you can, but both of those linebackers are so good, so fast, so technical that they really can corral you. But if one of those guys is missing, now that's a matchup that I'm actually looking forward to. So
Right.
it just depends on their health. It really does.
Yeah, and I mean they have a lot on COVID also right now, I think too.
Yep.
This whole COVID thing is going to really mess with the seeding.
And I swear, if it messes up the playoffs, I'm going to lose it.
I know I've been hearing Jersey's going to be doing another shutdown soon.
Man,
I'm like,
it's a lot. It's like we've had enough. Like let's figure this out. Let's move on. Like come on.
Just call COVID season the new flu season and
for real.
On. I mean, it's a 98.2% survival rate. Like, it's just I'm over it. But
yeah, get vaccinated or don't, do whatever your thing. But like we gotta get back to normal, man. Like we can't be doing this back and forth. Like our internally, like just sitting around doing nothing is not good for people.
No, it's definitely not.
Yeah, see, people are talking about the Bucks were shut out, 0 points. They are beatable, but listen, here's one thing that you're not understanding. That's a division game. They were down to their 5th and 6th wide receivers in that game. Once you're in a division game, all bets are out the window. You saw what happened with the 49ers against Arizona's B team. You saw what happened to the 49ers against Seattle. That's a whole different deal. They've lost like 8 of 9 games against the Saints in the regular season. And the one game they won was in the playoffs last year. Yep. So, it's just the way it works with divisions. So
it is. So, all right, Jess,
all right, brother. Well, listen, we'll text. Definitely be texting tomorrow throughout the game for sure. But also,
I got to figure out how I'm watching it. I'm at work tomorrow.
I'll shoot you some stream links. I got you.
Yeah, definitely do.
I got you.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you having me on. Much love to you. Glad everything's working out. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button for Jesse as well. You can check me out on Nothing But Niners on YouTube or 49er Faithful 365 on Twitter. Check out my guy Jamal and Jasper as well. Niner Talk, Sersky, Real Talk, Niner Talk, Niner Nate Nonsense, Marco Martinez.
All of them.
Yeah, it's all. Follow every 49ers podcast that you possibly can. 49ers Takes. Tommy Huxley, go cry somewhere else, bro. I don't know what else to tell you.
All right, y'all. Hey, listen, I'm going to tap out as well while you're here. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Hopefully we can get a Victory Friday with a Victory Monday and Christmas all in one week. If you are not subscribed to the Patreon, go tap in over there. I promise you there's some good stuff. We did a film breakdown just yesterday of Ambry Thomas. So make sure you're tapping in over there. All the links are down in the description. I appreciate all of you. Have a happy holiday. Go Niners. Nick, we'll talk soon, brother.